time to wake up and talk about the teams you love.
Everybody wake up! Everybody wake up!
With the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with the number of cameras.
Take the cameras off the field, then there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on one. Ready, Biller, for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 jet. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red, right, 18 bob on one. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We got exactly what we got to do. All right? That's all the good boy got to do. Let's go out and kick some tape. All right? 1, 2, 3.
Keep doing what you're doing. Sit our guys after and make the play.
B right, all the way outside. Y left, fake 396 bag. D hand, C puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmidt.
Oh, God. This man's been out all night.
And Armen Sarian.
Zip. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Right when it says don't get scared now, I always get a little twinge in my tummy. It's the Huddle here on Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. I'm Bill Schmidt alongside the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, fluorescent, adorable Armenian Armen Sarian this morning. Good morning, Armen Sarian, CBS Nagano 98. How we doing here today? Day 7.
Great. Doing great this morning on a Tuesday morning.
Say
Good
great
morning,
one more
William
time and I'll
Schmidt,
believe you.
Schmidt. Yes, pause. Yes, great. Absolutely. I know you're doing well because you're wearing the NASCAR sweatshirt today.
Dude.
You're wearing the NASCAR sweatshirt, and that's always a good vibe, especially when you're in Florida. Daytona just ended. You know, I know you're starting to feel it down there with the community when you start putting the NASCAR vibes on, the NASCAR gear, and
frankly, Armen,
yeah,
the Chase Elliott sweatshirt that I got on here today
would
have been a whole lot better to wear yesterday if my man didn't blow a lead coming out of turn 4 on the final lap at the Daytona 500. That's the great, tell it to me in football terms. What if like your favorite football team had a 21-3 lead at halftime?
Oh God,
that would be way too early, right?
Emotional damage. What
if your favorite football team had like not 1, not 2, but 3 leads of 10 points in the final 5 minutes? I mean, like that would be like that's like 10 points in the final 2 minutes. That's you're coming out of the turn. You're seeing a celebration and Michael Jordan kissing the trophy.
Oh, man.
And you're believing that's you. And instead, man, you're sitting in 4th place, not even on the podium. That's a tough beat. No, actually.
You even have Hunter checking for a garbage can after that one, man.
It's tough. Yeah, Hunter Baumgart in here today for Drew Olson. Yeah, Hunter, good morning. That's a way to welcome you in on a thought process. Just put yourself in that thought.
Yeah, I haven't in a while, thankfully.
Yeah. Listen, that's a good thing.
Days or whatever. Nobody's counting, though.
What about an even worse one? It would be like your favorite baseball team. I don't know, up 2 runs going into the top of the 9th inning with a chance to move on. That wouldn't happen though. You wouldn't lose that game.
No.
You wouldn't lose that game.
No, you wouldn't. Well, in fact, actually, then the next year you beat the Cubs and all's right with the world. So.
See, there you go. See, Hunter, the nice thing about what happened last year.
Understood the assignment.
First round series was we were slowly erasing the memory of that Mets series.
We were. So if the Packers come out and they beat the Bears in the playoffs next year and get to the Super Bowl, hey,
yeah,
it's all in the past. It's all in the past.
Then all's forgotten and all's well with the world, and we could all smile and be okay. No, actually, Armen, the reason why the sweatshirt's on because your boy did not read any bit of an extended forecast. I don't do this when I'm at home. Why on earth would you do that on vacation? It's currently sitting at about 52 degrees out here on this patio, so I could probably be using that Nagano jacket instead. You know what? We're rolling and we're excited to be in day 2 of Grapefruit League action, getting one day closer to games returning in the pro side for the NBA. Obviously, NHL is a couple of weeks away with their Olympic break. Badgers back on the floor tonight. Golden Eagles off until tomorrow. I mean, fellas, there's not a whole lot of sports Saharas that happen during the calendar year, but with the NBA All-Star break and this little gap in the NHL and the game for the Badgers played on Friday, it's felt like there hasn't been real action in about 5 days. I even tapped in on some game last night, Armen. You'd be proud of me. You'd be proud of me. Some game was, I don't know, a top 10 matchup. Houston and Iowa State.
That was a good ball game. I'm glad you watched. I mean, that was right down to the end right there.
Yeah,
the overhit, I believe.
It was really fun. It was really fun to watch the Cyclones win. I didn't know that I bought an obstructed view seat watching it on television with somebody's pom-pom jumping into the crowd all game long.
The arm and the pom-pom and the people in the way of the TV camera was sort of a more common thing I remember growing up watching. Like, it didn't happen a lot, but every now and then it had a bad view where there was somebody in the feed or someone shaking the camera. And I thought we fixed all that. But apparently not. They still are putting the ESPN cameras in places. Like, usually it happens during championship week when ESPN's cameras are at arenas like Stetson and McNeese and all these places.
In the Orleans arena.
And
the
like
4,000
people. So that's understandable because they usually don't have a network broadcast to deal with, although there are cameras everywhere now. But I mean, really, come on. I mean, first of all, you got to be a little more aware. And I'm not really blaming the fan because when you're locked in, and you're an Iowa State Cyclone fan, and you're in that arena, nothing else matters. I'm not moving for anybody. That's your problem. You're the one. I'm locked in on the game. My job is to get as crazy as possible. So I'm kind of surprised they couldn't figure that out. Eventually, I mean, they did. Like, if you just watch the highlight package today and they had TJ Otzelberger on SVP, it looked pretty good and stuff. Yeah, but if you're watching the game, every now and then that happens, and it's like, that's something I remember I used to see growing up. Or like the camera shaking around because there were so many people, or those old shots at Assembly Hall in Indiana and Bloomington where they're like right down the floor. Like it just was a weird angle. So yeah, that's one of those things.
There's a couple of those moments that you see that you get to enjoy some of those. I think when the Vikings were in London, I want to say they played 2 games they played 2 games overseas this year. The second game, I want to say they're playing the Steelers. Anywho, I'm listening to our friend Paul Allen on K-Fan for the closing of the game because the Vikings are losing. I want to hear the misery call.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's talking to someone. And I'm like, who are we talking to? And he's sitting there and he's having a conversation with a fan who's right next to him. And he's like, hey, congratulations. You guys won. Good game. Good for you. It was crazy to be able to hear. But all of a sudden that was the situation. And it just happened to be he's having a conversation with a fan, and all of a sudden it just runs through.
That's Wayne. Absolutely. Wayne has Wayne's talked obviously about the different advantages and disadvantages to different booths when it comes to across the NFL.
And he loves talking about that, Hunter.
He does because that's his livelihood, and if that's his livelihood, then obviously, if that's going to be your livelihood, you're going to be into that and obviously want to know, okay, where am I going to be? What's going to give me the best view and everything like that throughout his career. But I'm sure that college basketball, we've talked about it with Matt LePay a little bit as far as what's his favorite arena to call a game in or everything like that, right? But I would think that in college basketball, you have a little more of that because there's just more variance in the types of sizes. Like obviously Iowa State, I would think is a little smaller than Kansas, right? It just depends on where you are and the TV. I would think the TV cameras kind of pay attention to that though. Okay, could this view be, obstructed at all? But
there is like you said, there's a consistency level too, like NFL stadiums, for instance. Like even though you might be at a different spot, you're usually halfway up. You're usually on one end to the other, unless it's a pretty old stadium, which is, I guess, more and more rare now. But Wayne always talks about it, and I really should be writing it down. Wayne loves to talk about what stadiums have the best view and what rankings have the best view. But, I remember the days, guys, where NBA, our old friend Ted Davis used to talk about how it used to be courtside. So calling an NBA game or a basketball game courtside was totally different than calling it halfway up. And, it's, a little broadcast nerd stuff. We could do that at 5 a.m.
It's always find those.
Now, you guys do a lot of when you guys do the high school games. Now, that's really where you can get all kinds of, because you're just putting the table wherever they'll allow you. Like you're really, then you're really dealing with some unusual broadcasts.
We were doing some Catholic Memorial games, as you heard, in Milwaukee on Fox Sports 920 this year, and that view is fantastic. It's above, it's kind of up and to the left on one of the sides of the bleachers, a platform there, and you can see everything going on down. I mean, it's like it's an overview. It's not courtside, but the overview is almost better. Yeah, because you're seeing everything develop, and that's a really good view.
Well, as you know, Billy, and like when you're doing college, like when you're in college doing the broadcast, you just go wherever you're allowed to.
Yes.
Like you just basically, post up wherever you can. We talk about our guy, I forget his name, doing the student broadcast at UW when he's kind of like in the
Joey.
Wherever he can be. You got to kind of deal with wherever you're going to be allowed to be, and then you just got to kind of adjust. That's the life you live.
Yeah, and we're actually going to have to adjust because I did get a red ticket during that conversation. I don't know if you guys were hearing. My man was not happy outside. Not happy outside.
I heard something. I want to make sure you're not in trouble because we're good, brother. So
well, trust me.
I
think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. I mean, I don't really know that we want trouble. We definitely don't want trouble.
Yeah.
We're happy to potentially put out the fire if one potentially starts. But I think it's all good in the neighborhood. And it is one of those where you think about, like you mentioned, you're in a different spot. I just didn't know that was going to be a top 10 game in the NCAA. I didn't know that it was going to be we're battling through over at Sussex Hamilton in the corner, and my man was going to get his pom-pom waving in. But in a world where you're rarely going to be covered up and not found out on a national television broadcast, I wonder if that guy was able to be anonymous, whose pom-pom was waving in the air, right? Like rarely, I don't know if he gets the call from all of his buddies, dude, you're on TV.
Sure.
Unless you got a specific tattoo, no one's knowing who you are, and you're able to kind of live in infamy. And you're like, wait a second, that's me. No one can know that I'm messing up with this national television broadcast. That's got to be kind of an empowering feeling there.
That's true, because then there's no way to identify you, so you're like, you're just kind of floating through anonymously, as you go throughout the entire broadcast.
Unless you have a certain mannerism or characteristic that people will recognize, but only your closest friends and family would. So I would think, he might have tapped into something there, Billy, where he can still remain anonymous and have that power. Although
he's just having fun.
Do you think he was aware that he was doing that to the broadcast? I don't think he was probably aware he was doing that to the broadcast. I'm sure he would prefer not to, but hey, I'm sure he, like I said, that was one of the most intense games of the week. He was pretty locked in. So yeah, that was probably the one morsel of food left in the buffet last night in a very sparse TV watching time. And that's okay to say. Like you said, it is a sports desert right now. There are a couple, the middle around All-Star break, baseball is the other one in the summer, and this is the other time. And listen, that's okay to admit. That's okay to admit if you're a sports fan. I was thinking about this. It's okay to admit that, hey, you know what? It was a sparse viewing, a smorgasbord of sports. Except, we do have the Olympics going right now.
That's the thing.
If it wasn't for that, we'd pretty much not have anything. So.
I was going to compare it to the All-Star break time in baseball, but unless the Olympics is going on, which I guess sometimes
some big downhill skiing
later. But right now, you do have that going on, and you have the prime time in Milan that NBC is doing every night, which is nice. It's like a little recap of the day, and you get to see the best events, and so there is that. But obviously, we're used to like our teams. Okay, when do the Bucks play? When does Marquette play? When does Wisconsin? When's the marquee NBA game tonight? Right, those types of things rather than the Olympics.
And I'm always curious, guys, and Billy, maybe you can get some thoughts on this too. Like, what do sports fans have going on? In their viewing, like when there's less going on in terms of live sports, what do you have going on? Do you check it on other things? Are you less invested in the sports at the time, or are you doing what I'm doing last night and thanking the sports YouTube gods or whatever that was that they dropped the 1992 Packers yearbook on YouTube? I tend to go check out stuff like that when it's time to see what's going on and see, because right now. You can check out it. It's like it's international soccer, it's international hockey. I mean, obviously we do have the Olympics right now, but even that's not live in the evening. You talked about the recap, Hunter. So I'm always curious: do sports fans just check out other things that already happened? They pull the Armen and watch old games, or do they just remove themselves until their favorite basketball team starts playing again?
I think there's probably a lot more that check out in the advent of YouTube, the old games and the classics, old ESPN classic to be able to grab it. But it's what do you do when there's nothing new on to stream, when you don't have a new show to watch? You go back to the junk food. You go back to what you watched all the time. So I do believe, Armen, there's probably more that become Armen Sarians during this week than ever before, which has got to make you a little bit happy. Like, it's definitely, you're not definitely the only one that's going to be tapping in on the 92 finals during this run. But the other good thing is, Hunter, as much as the sports desert leaves us open with a lot of questions as to what we can talk about and what to react to night in and night out, it gives us a lot of opportunity to discuss what's going on in the desert, which is the team building that's about to be taking place with the Milwaukee Brewers and their full squad workouts. We're going to talk about that later on, but you're going to respond to Armen's question here first about what everyone's watching here in the sports desert.
Yes, exactly. Well, you know what I miss in this winter when there's a sports desert is The Bachelor on Mondays. I tell you.
That's right, Hunter. That was your thing. That was your thing.
And it was always like, okay, past it was always debuted the week after the first Monday after the holidays.
Yep.
And so it was like, all right, the football season's winding down, but I still have kind of that appointment TV every Monday to check out The Bachelor. And that's not happening. And who knows if that's really ever coming back. I think The Bachelorette's coming back this spring, I think.
Yeah, they have Taylor Frankie. They have from Real Housewives of
Secret Life, or is
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's
okay.
it. Yeah, they're tapping into that market.
We're going Mormon now on The Bachelor?
Yes. One of the girls from that show is now The Bachelorette. Wow. They're doing anything they can to get people. And she was in the celebrity game, by the way. She was in the Celebrity All-Star game, and she was terrible, but it's not her fault. She's out there trying to get shots off against Taco Fall.
Well, if she was better than,
good luck.
Everybody was better than Shams, but
everybody's Shams.
That's fair. That is fair.
Yes,
that is fair. That was horrendous by Shams, by the way.
No, terrible.
But it was so good. I don't know. I was enjoying it.
Well, we did have a little Schadenfreude there. But the one thing you did have is opportunity, and we talked about that. And Hunter took the opportunity to go live last night, which I appreciate. So if you had nothing to watch last night, a lot of people were checked in. Like, I know AAA Dante checking in about the Brewers game Saturday.
Yep.
We're doing a great hour-long live on Facebook, YouTube, on these streams. Just a reminder, if you're listening to us on Fox Sports 920 Milwaukee or 1070 in Madison, we are not just over the air. We're streaming on YouTube, X, and Facebook every day. And from now and then, now and again, we do these live videos as well where we interact, talk, and do some live shows streaming. And Hunter did one last night, and it was fantastic. So there you go. If you had nothing to watch, you had Hunter to watch last night.
Took advantage of the sports desert a little bit last night to talk about what's going on in the desert, like you said, Billy. So it was a good show. It was fun.
It was a phenomenal one. It was a beautiful way to, I'll be honest with you, put the kids to bed. We tapped in a little bit of Brewers conversation. That's always going to be a winner in the house. 877-794-1973. You want to join the conversation here up early with us on the huddle. We're huddling up. Hunter Baumgart in for Drew Olson. We are going to go towards the desert. Luis Rengifo into the mix. That was official yesterday. So was El Kraken, as Gary Sanchez is back with the Milwaukee Brewers backup catcher. What questions does that open up? Or are we just never going to get one question answered? And I'm excited to talk to Hunter about that because it was he was allegedly Pat Murphy's favorite prospect. So I don't know if the Gary Sanchez thing opens up another question on a name Brewers fans might have been familiar with for the last couple of years, as well as we touched on Joey Ortiz yesterday and the potential leash that Joey Ortiz is going to have. Hunter, we queued it up, and I want to have the conversation next. You talked about the leash that Joey Ortiz has. Is he the only player? Is he the only guy on the roster in the lineup that you're looking at with a leash? I got one or two other names that might be interesting. We'll throw that one around at you over as well at 877-794-1973. Armen Sarian's right there. He's fluorescent. He's Naganoed up. Hunter Baumgart's in for Drew Olson. I'm Bill Schmidt reporting from the Grapefruit League. We're huddled up with you on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Welcome back. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Bill Schmidt alongside Hunter Baumgart. Armen Sarian's right there as well. And it is a beautiful Tuesday morning in what is kind of a downtime during spring training. The first full squad workout reports at Maryvale Baseball Complex, formerly known as Maryvale Baseball Complex, now the American Family Fields of Phoenix, a beautiful spot for the Milwaukee Brewers to take their reps and get themselves ready for the 162-game marathon that happens. Hunter Baumgart is going to be our Brewers insider covering all of it. He's in for Drew Olson here today, and Armen Sarian's right over there as well. Hunter, we were talking yesterday about Joey Ortiz and the shortstop spot and the leash that potentially he's going to find and have in the quest to be able to take over here in 2026 and take off offensively, because we were waiting for that all year last year. You got little bits and pieces of it. You mentioned yesterday the day of like Memorial Day as being the runway for him to come through. And when we talked about some different players that might be pushing him as well, I was looking at where else could we see a position where the team is now obviously very committed and wanting the young player to do well and wanting them to be able to take off and be the player that you hoped he would be when you acquired him. But is center field a spot that also there's a couple of individuals maybe on leash and on a runway of time when you talk about Blake Perkins and Garrett Mitchell, because you would think one of them is an odd man out because they kind of can be a little redundant there in center field. However, you want to see and give an actual chance for Garrett Mitchell. And you can't take Blake Perkins off the field sometimes because of how ultra productive he can be.
Well, and as Pat Murphy has said, he's going to send himself down before he's going to send Blake Perkins down. So if that's the case, then Blake Perkins is in it for the long haul. I think I would love to see Garrett Mitchell in a near everyday position there at center field. Give him almost everyday starts, see what he can do with consistent playing time, and see what you have potential there. Because I think you have a chance to have a really productive outfield with Churio in left and Mitchell in center and Frelick in right. And then if Yelich plays the outfield, then you shuffle that around a little bit. And then, Perkins can definitely be off the bench. He can play a time or two. He can come in late in the game if you want to, although Garrett Mitchell's a really good center fielder. I think we forget how fast Garrett Mitchell is. I mean, he's going to be one of the fastest guys on the field when he plays. So with Garrett Mitchell, I think there's less of a leash when it comes to like Memorial Day. I don't think, they're going to be deciding his fate necessarily around that time, but I do think that he has to stay healthy. And I think this is kind of that one more year, although it's like, well, is this his last chance to stay healthy? Well, if he doesn't stay healthy, then, not many teams around the league are necessarily going to want him because of obviously that history. And so Amen. It's not like they're going to have an easy time getting rid of him, so to speak. It's not like, if he doesn't stay healthy this year, you just trade him away. Well, I don't think it's necessarily that easy. I also think just by chance that probably he has a better chance of staying healthy this year because he's got a lot of injuries behind him now. So I'm really hoping that he gets kind of just a chance to be that everyday player that Sal Frelick is right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he might always be our white whale. He might always be the one that you always, got away, the one you're always trying to chase and text back and all that stuff, whatever reference you want to use. But the reality is the talent is there, that it's tantalizing, and you know what's the potential is if he can stay healthy. People forget he had some of the, one of the biggest homers, I think, in playoff history if the Brewers win that series. So part of that centerpiece, I still think it behooves the Brewers to try and get him to a place that, like you said, he can play consistently with health, Hunter and Billy, and a place where he can be part of it, because he could be a valuable piece for the Brewers going forward, even if it's not in your center field future or in your outfield future. Yeah. But if he does become a trade piece or something like that, you want to get his value up, because obviously you don't get that by trading away something that's, I'd say, worth damaged goods, right? I mean, if he's injured, so you want to get him going.
Armen, isn't that one of our favorite things to be able to discuss? Well, why don't you just trade the guys that aren't good? Why don't you guys trade this guy who's not going to be playing for you?
Exactly.
And then you get somebody awesome.
And it doesn't work that way, right?
It doesn't.
Crazily enough, it doesn't necessarily work that way. But you do wonder, like, is there more of an opportunity for Garrett Mitchell to be able to, like you said, Hunter? Odds are the injuries are behind him, or maybe it is something that tracks him. You see a player who's so so competent when on the field, so
Yeah.
competitive, and also has a little bit of the clutch factor that I feel like you're always looking for. It feels like Mitchell's had that flair for the dramatic when able to play an extended period of time. You hope that would be the case, that he'd be able to be there. The other one here, and I mentioned it before the break, am I reading too much into the Gary Sanchez ad, Hunter, that it means that we may never see Jefferson Caro, who I was told is Pat Murphy's favorite prospect? I mean, he's been a top 100 prospect for a long time. Now, you want to talk about a player that suffered a couple of freak injuries as well, but he's been along and on the 40-man roster. He's been close to breaking the 40-man roster. It felt like he's been close to breaking camp a couple of times, but he's never been able to get into Milwaukee for an extended run. And I'm wondering if, $3 million to Gary Sanchez means you're probably not seeing him again this year. And maybe you're once again, even just stockpiling him, stashing him away in AAA, or there's a question to be had there.
There is a question, because I thought, okay, this is probably the year that he's going to be the backup. Now, you also look at his career numbers in the minor leagues, and he's never played more than 95 games in a season. So there's, that it would be a significant, if he were to be, there's a couple things there. If he were to be an everyday catcher, obviously it'd be a significant jump. He's not going to be the everyday catcher because Contreras would be. So it's not like he would surpass necessarily 95. I don't think he would if even if he was the backup catcher throughout the season. However, if you do think that he is the catcher of the future, I do think you want him to get more consistent playing time. You want to see if that arm can continue to bounce back from the injury. And you're not going to necessarily get that at the major league level because of how much of an Iron Man William Contreras is. And knowing Contreras after this year only has one more year of control, I do wonder if they think, okay, this guy's probably going to be our future. We want him to continue to get continuous at bats and not be a plug and play guy yet. You get Gary in here, and I wouldn't be surprised if there are times when they do carry three catchers, possibly if let's say Caro starts the year and he's tearing it up in AAA. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes up and maybe plays some. And Gary, he only played 29 games last year, so he's got to show that he can come back and play consistently as well too. So I think they have a couple of guys there. I think kind of Reese McGuire is probably out of the picture now when it comes to that back. I don't know if he ever was really in the picture. I think he's more that Jorge Alfaro signing of last year where he spends time in AAA, and if they ever need him, if they get to that depth point and they need him, they do. I think Caro still has a chance to be the catcher in the future, but right now you've got Contreras, who's an Iron Man, coming back healthy. The fingers all back in normal, which is great. You get a veteran guy in Gary Sanchez who can back him up. You can put Caro at AAA and get him going. He spent 58 games in AAA last year, 11 with the ACL Brewers, so only played 69 total games last year. So get him some more at-bats, see how that arm progresses, and then you can make a decision. Or, like you said, if they want to just keep going with a veteran as a backup and maybe they have other plans to extend William Contreras that we're not aware of, then that becomes a discussion of do you trade Jefferson Caro. So I think right now, though, start him in AAA, get his feet under him there, and then you see where it goes from there.
And guys, Armen, I'm excited about the extending William Contreras conversation. That's the conversation I definitely like to have, but I know it's probably one that we're not going to have. So
very excited. I think what's tricky for major league clubs is the position can be tricky in a couple of regards. One, when you talk about Caro and you talk about catching prospects in general, it's been notoriously a more inconsistent position to try and prognosticate going forward with players, right? Right, guys. I think that I've seen some stuff on that. I think that's proven out to be true. Is that you can count on there's less known quantity in catching prospects than a lot of other positions for another number of reasons. And the same thing with veteran catchers getting into their later years, how their bodies might or might not break down, which makes the William Contreras extension situation interesting that you brought up as well, Billy.
Yes, because if you give him 4 or 5 years right now, it's risky, especially for Milwaukee. I just don't know if I see it at his age, where he's at. As I know, as good as he's been, but I just don't know if in this market you can do that. However, how does the CBA negotiations at a salary cap or floor play into that? Because that's a real possibility next year. And if that's the case, the floor is almost more interesting. You put like 150 at a floor, Then you put the Brewers at 20 to 30 million to play with more each year than where they've been hovering around that 125, 130 mark. You put another 20 to 30 million dollars in their pocket that they have to spend. And then I think you can talk about how then it's maybe more of a realistic possibility. And that's just possibly next year already. So if that's the case, this is going to be fascinating because they're both converging at once. So if they keep them, obviously through this year, like obviously I would expect them to, and not pull, a Josh Hader where they did it a year and a couple months in advance, keep him for the offseason, then see what you want to do with 1 year left of control. Then it merges with that CPA negotiation, and then you're talking about a really fascinating discussion.
Yeah. Then you start thinking, what's the bigger risk for the organization? Is it investing in a veteran catcher that's somewhat of a known quantity, although there's never such a thing as a catcher, or investing in a catching prospect future whose future is inconsistent based on a lot of things. I'm old enough to remember there was Angel Salome. He was the in I don't know what years that was. I think the mid 2000s, maybe later on, that he was part of the Laporta group that was like the next wave of prospects, and he was a big catching prospect. I think he had one down year and he quit baseball, so you just never really know what's going to happen in that position. Also, the way we evaluate catchers, I think, is changing. Guys, see what you think about this based on the way the rules have changed, right? For pitchers, I think catchers were long evaluated on their ability to can you hold a runner? Can you keep them from stealing frame? Those type of things. And now the Cal Raleighs of the world are popping them out of the park all the time. And it's less, with the pitch count and
ABS now this year
as well. And the, amount of times you can go to first base on the throwovers and things like that. Maybe that's less of a evaluation point as it is other than just, can you provide offense and things like that?
Well, and Hunter, the interesting thing is, because he brings up Cal Raleigh's name. Cal Raleigh is one of the better defensive catchers in the game, right? Like he's phenomenal over there. But Armen, you're right. He's getting $105 million for 6 years because he's hitting 40 or 50 homers a year. Yeah. It's not because of necessarily what he's doing defensively.
Right.
I do wonder if that eliminates a little bit of the value or hinders some of their value. But I'm also looking at Will Smith, who I think is one of the better players in the game. And my man's making like $14 million a year. Like that to me, why it's stomachable. That's the one where you look at and it makes a lot of sense. Hunter, you also brought up something that, you want to talk about licking your chops, Armen. We start talking. Are we talking sports business here? Did Hunter bring in some sports business conversation?
I think he did, which is like barbecue chicken for you. Oh
my God,
you love that.
Just fresh off of the grill. Hunter, I've never thought about it that way. I've always thought the floor would be the one that would impact more teams below the Brewers. I didn't realize 150 was like a legitimate number that we were looking at. I always thought that it would be 100, 120. And I know maybe you might have just been throwing something out there, so I don't mean to throw you completely in and have that blender into your mentions. But I really do like the thought of it being even higher. Because I had, again, Shaq meme. I was unfamiliar with your game. I had really thought that it was going to be some of the teams that were below the Brewers in the spending pool. Because as much as the Brewers will get knocked for not being one of the highest spending teams, they're never one of the least spending teams.
Correct.
In the last, 10 to 15 years. So I do think that's an interesting one where they could be forced to put some cash more on the table for some of the guys that would be in on their culture. And I just look at the value wise, everybody looks at the amount of games played and the value you're going to have at first base or catcher. I just think that William Contreras bat's going to play wherever it goes. And maybe if you're able to spike on it on a down year off of the finger injury, Hunter, you're able to get it at a little bit even better of a price for the team.
True. I mean, if he had a down year, last year, technically, is when you compare it to 2024. And then maybe if he has another one, maybe it becomes, more affordable, but then also you're not getting as much production as you want from William Contreras. So that's also a thing to think about. The Athletic did put out, they had a great article about the possibilities of the cap and the floor. And they said a reasonable goal from an ownership perspective might be $240 million at the top and $160 million at the bottom. So again, 160, and you look at where the Brewers payroll have been, that's like 30 more million that you have to spend. I mean, that is such a significant difference. And we've always talked about the cap, and that obviously the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have a $402 million payroll, obviously that's going to bring them down, and that's what everybody's talking about. But bringing everybody else up,
the floors,
it gives the Brewers a little more chance to sign some of those free agents. And it raises the tide of all boats. Now, you're still going to have the organizations that aren't run well. You look at the NFL, you look at other sports who you have always those organizations that just cannot get out of their own way. And I think you're still going to have that, right? The Dolphins, yeah. But I think that would just, as much as we're thinking about the cap part of it, the floor might be even the more fascinating part for the Brewers specifically.
That's a good point. Really quick, let's get speaking of that, before we get to the break, let's get a couple texts in here.
Please.
Tim Knott said, I'll take the under on Mitchell making it to Labor Day. Okay, well, not wow. Way to get us all excited on a Tuesday morning.
Make it to Labor Day. Oh, man.
And the sunshine from Red Hot Tim Knott continues. He says, I'm excited for Mark to extend Contreras too. I'm also excited for my weekend with Sydney Sweeney, neither of which is going to happen. Look, Red Hot. She's single now. You have a chance. I mean, I thought Puka was linked to her, but that was apparently just a false rumor. You gotta believe.
Wasn't she engaged?
Yeah, they're separated now, so she is single, and she's been linked to music mogul Scooter Braun, but not a serious relationship. So that's your update. So for all you men out there that are still hoping and dreaming, that's what life's about, right? Sydney Sweeney. So Red Hot Tim not making his jokes, but maybe you will have a weekend date with her at some point.
Do we have a Bobby, what was that girl's name situation rolling here?
Bobby Althoff?
Yeah.
You're talking about the podcaster, right?
Broke up with a longtime fiance for a guy named Scooter?
Is she?
I mean, well, that's what you just explained. That's what Sydney Sweeney Sydney Sweeney is going full Bobby on us here? Dumping her longtime man for a guy named Scooter. I mean, it might not be Drake, but
what I missed there is I didn't know who Bobby Althoff was dating. She's apparently she's dating Tyler Hawkins, who's a basketball player.
Is Bobby the person that's always interviewing Drake?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the situation.
Okay. Yeah. And
Boy,
she
Hunter, I'm impressed you knew that.
Hunter allegedly she was in. Yeah. Oh yeah. Everyone watches. Everyone that says they're not watching one of those videos, they know they sit there and they're like, "What?"
They just come.
What is this?
Come up and I'm like, "Why is this person always interviewing Drake?" That's just my question.
Jenny, really quick, Jenny Appleton's a little upset with me saying the Olympics are not part of the sports desert. We do watch in the morning, so we do see it live. The men's and women's hockey has been great. I agree. Our team's been winning and playing well. I agree, Jenny. Can't wait for the USA and gold medal or Canada and gold medal game. Yes, the women are playing Canada and the gold medal, and I'm assuming the men are going to be there too. I don't want to count my chickens.
They're waiting for their opponent right now.
Yes, they're waiting for Sweden or Latvia winner to play in the knockout round. But my point is, it's not live at night. So I understand, yes, it is live during the day.
No, Armen, I'm glad you threw that in there because it is. And it absolutely matters and we enjoy it. And we're appreciative that the Olympics comes. But it's one of those where you start sitting back saying, wow, if I wasn't watching the Peacock Gold Zone,
which I love, by the way,
this would be tough. It would be a tough time to be a sports fan because there would be a lot of reruns or maybe a lot of NFL Total Access for the 97th time having to check it in. 877-794-1973. Get to some more of the text, more comments as well on the YouTube page coming up on the other side. Hunter Baumgart's right there. Armen's on the other side. I'm Billy Schmidt. It's no BS on the game.
Welcome back. It is the Huddle here on Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. Hunter Baumgart in for Drew Olson here. We are awaiting Billy's arrival back on the porch there in Florida.
Billy's dealing with some business down there. There's no doubt about it. Billy's dealing with some issues down there, and it's no fault of his own.
No. Oh, now he's got now we got a visitor. Oh, this is fantastic.
This is what I wanted. We have Benson.
Benson is going to be joining us live here.
Benson joining us live. This is what I
Sorry
wanted.
about that, guys.
No worries.
You're good.
Sorry about that. Yeah, we got the little guy with us here.
I didn't know if you're doing some negotiations with some of the neighbors there. I heard it's getting real wild down there. Yeah.
So it has, and Armen, I'm glad you mentioned that because I did just do something that I probably shouldn't have, and some people are going to be, maybe upset with me. I'm grabbing him for the cuteness factor.
Oh yeah, you got to have that.
If indeed something goes down, he might be the human shield. You okay with that, buddy?
Yeah.
Is that good? You say hi.
Yeah,
mesmerized by this thing, a little camera shy, a little mic shy, but yeah,
that's what we like.
So we during the first segment, probably about 5 or 6 minutes in,
there you go.
There we go.
We got some rocks thrown up at us. I was trying to figure out what it was. And it was a rock, and then it was a rake being hit. So I was trying to figure out what was happening.
Wow.
And we had definitely woke up a decent amount of the complex today.
Wow. That's tough.
Yeah. So we were a little rattled early, but I think it's getting better, especially if we have a human shield. Like there's going to be hard to be upset. I mean, again, there's a net in front of us, so he's not going to get hit. Trust me, I'm not going to have it. Hopefully, I'm not having any CPS people upset with us here. But just for a cuteness factor, I thought, a 9-month-old should help us out here a little bit, right?
I agree. I think so, definitely. You got Benson there for the cuteness factor, naturally disarming. But I didn't want, and we talked yesterday about, about the complex and how much of a community it is. I didn't want Mr. Schmidt to have to, get into it with anybody out there. Like that's something I'm worried about. Like he's not going to have to start, calming anybody down by the pool or anything like that, right? There's not going to be any
rocks and rakes.
The rock thing is wild. Now that's one I know Bill Schmidt isn't going to take.
Not having it.
No, I know you're not going to take that sitting down, Billy. Right? I mean,
Big Bill. Oh, I thought you meant Big Bill. No, Big Bill's not happy about it. So he has potentially already put in multiple calls to the HOA president.
Let's go, baby.
He's being a little proactive here, proactive about it, a little asking for forgiveness, right? Because maybe in the bylaws there's some kind of noise violation outside at a certain time, right? Maybe there's one of those things.
But you're working, Billy.
Somewhere in there might be, but it's also a stay, right? Can we not get a small injunction to allow us for a 2 to 3 day run? Yeah, right. Shouldn't it be allowed?
It doesn't give that guy right to take matters into his own hands and start chucking pebbles. Like, what is this? Come on.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude.
Like, what is this, Rapunzel?
That's a really, really good question. I liked it.
Reference, but
I don't know that Rapunzel is exactly the right one. Would that be correct there, Hunter?
Rapunzel let down
Goldilocks?
her hair.
It's the Three Bears.
Well, that's the Three Bears situation. That's when the big bad wolf huffed and puffed and tried to blow the house down. That's a different situation.
Oh, the
wasn't that Goldilocks?
Oh yeah. I was gonna say the boy who cried wolf. That's a different one.
Yeah. And never did you realize Huff and Puff was gonna have a totally different interaction. You thought it was just gonna be with Snoop. Yeah, you thought it was just gonna be with Snoop. You like playing Huff and Puff, right? And then all of a sudden, the Potawatomi Casino Hotel is like, wait a second, we can play a Huff and Puff game? Next genius idea.
If you get into it, Billy, we need a recap on the show. Here's the thing, though. You're only on with us tomorrow, right? Yeah.
But then I'll be back on Friday.
You'll be back on Friday. So you got to get through one more day.
Yeah.
Smooth things out Thursday. And then just but you know what? Did they only hear you and not see you? Because you could give the Shaggy defense. You could give it wasn't me, you could give the Shaggy defense,
So that was my thought. I'm like, how did he realize that it's me?
Yeah.
Well, there's about 60 different places in here, and I was the only one with the porch light on.
That's a quick tell.
That was probably a quick tell to be able to figure it out. Yeah, it was tough, but we also woke him up. So I don't know that it really worked out very well. Everybody's been awake since the show started in the house.
Oh, no. Is everyone mad? Is everyone mad at you?
I don't know that it's a full messenger deal. I'm definitely not everyone's favorite person right now. Like I would say out of the time that my parents know this story. It's all right. I'm the favorite child, right? Like there's a moment where my sister knows this. I'm the favorite. There's a moment where you're going to have to battle for that nod. This is probably that week that we're going to have to put in some sweat equity, Armen, to be able to keep ourselves at the mantle.
No worries. And we're about to get some break here, and we're going to get on the other side. But a lot of people are starting to bow up for you, Billy. Don't worry. So we're getting the militia together to go support you if there's a rumble by the lockers in the hallway.
If there's a rumble by the pool, we'll have to figure it out. All right, you want to say goodbye to everybody, buddy? Say bye-bye. Almost thought about it. We'll be back after this. Hour number 2 of the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin coming up right after this.
It wasn't me.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love with the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with a number of cameras.
Take the cameras off the field, then there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on one. Ready, Biller for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 jet. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red right 18 bob on one. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We know exactly what we got to do. All right? That's all we're going to ball down to. Let's go out and kick some tape. All right? Hey, yo. 1, 2, 3.
Keep doing what you're doing. We're going to sit our guys out and make the play.
B right, all the way outside. Y left, fake 396 bag. D hand, C puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmidt,
Oh, my God. This man's been out all night.
and Armen Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Hour 2 of the Huddle. We are huddled up with you on Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. I'm Bill Schmidt alongside my main man, Armen Sarian. Hunter Baumgart in for Drew Olson today as pitchers and catchers are fully reported. Full squad is reported. The Milwaukee Brewers will have their first full workout here today at American Family Fields of Phoenix. Messed up, booked a Grapefruit League spot instead of a Cactus League spot, so I had to go check out the border battle yesterday. And hey, man, Minnesota Twins camp was buzzing. Minnesota Twins camp was buzzing. It was a good time, good spot. I think Lee Health Park, an older spot that they had. However, legitimately, guys, in the outfield, just like 10, 15, I got to imagine, Hunter, the jerseys without names on them.
Yeah.
In spring training. Into
80s.
like the 70s, 80s, and 90s generally means like, insert AA prospect here. But they were all having a great time, hitting wiffle balls, throwing the rock around, playing out on the field. It was a good time yesterday for the Twins' first full squad practice. But I assume that the vibes will be just as high at American Family Fields for those that, read the calendar right and are in Cactus League and not the Grapefruit League covering the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah.
That would have worked out well.
Bill got them probably nicer neighbors in Arizona too. That's the other factor. As you continue to battle through it.
Yeah, potentially nicer. Potentially nicer.
And I know Yelich talked, and we'll get into it, but it was nice to see young Carson. I saw him playing catch on a field yesterday. Was that on the actual spring training outfield grass?
So that was on the grass of the park that they'll play their spring training games on. Awesome. And I should have kept the name of the minor league team that plays there. There's a team that's playing there all year long. So that field gets used. And I mean, Armen, you would have loved it. Right as we step onto this beautiful piece of turf, grass. I hear a guy right behind me walk up to one of the security guys. So is this 100% Kentucky blue, or is there a little mixture in here with some artificial? Because this is really good stuff.
Nothing like talking grass. Nothing like talking agronomy with the guy hanging out there. That is the most chilled out. Like, this is spring training. Like, we're just enjoying life. Dudes talking. So what do we got here? Kentucky bluegrass, or what kind of grass is this? What do we got here? Like, he's the ground guy.
They weave this in every year, or is this fresh stuff?
I love that he assumes that the security guy, knows what's going on with the grass. You know what? Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's just grass. All right.
It's
you want to go?
It's grass
there or not? Yeah.
However, Armen, best part is security guy. Actually, I think it's a 60-40 mixture, and that's what I had to walk away because I just started when I realized that I was going to have two agronomists game for the conversation.
You're getting older, but you're not that old yet, Billy. You're not
old yet.
You're not talking grass blends yet.
No.
And John brings up a good point. You're not in Arizona. You're not an hour or two behind. That's what made me more mad during the break when I started thinking about it, because I forgot you're in Eastern time zone. I'm sorry, it's 7:00 there, Buster. All right, what guys mad at 7:00 because you're up in the morning? Get up. I mean, you're in this now. I don't want to call. I don't know how late the guy sleeps in, but come on. I'm assuming he gets up a little earlier than he used to.
It was 6 when he. It
was 6 when I was barking outside of his window.
Come on, you know what? The guy's probably retired. Just relax. Just put something on. You know, like
take
I
a
said,
deep breath.
If you got beef, put on a pork chop. All right, on the grill. All right, I'm enough of this stuff. Like this guy's getting ridiculous here. But
I looked at the Fort Myers Mighty Muscles.
That's
looks like
Let's
they
go.
play.
Now is that muscles as in like
that's it. I love the nicknames of minor league teams.
As in
like just so different.
Yeah, they're in the hats and the logos. Is that muscles as in getting swollen, getting ripped, or muscles as in like the seafood?
I think
as in like a seafood, as in like a clam, like the sweet.
They
logo,
have a
sweet logo. Yeah. For the Mighty Muscles.
Yeah, and a sweet mascot. Although he might be a little scary. That
he was out there yesterday. Okay. Not as scary in person.
Okay.
However, one that you just deviate path, right? Like, unless somebody's running up for, yes. Unless somebody's running up to him, probably one that you're going to go and pick yourself a different battle. But it was a great time yesterday. And spring training is a phenomenal opportunity for Brewers fans, baseball fans alike. Get on out, see a couple of games, see some players, get up close and personal. Guys are not that worried about it. Guys are very, very loose. And Hunter, you know this. You've gotten the chance to be out there, and it probably is an earlier morning, as we're on that subject, than you would think, or that you'd usually be for. But the early bird gonna get the worm and gonna get to see all the best players. Like, that is the time when, if you want to go and see at spring training, you're there for 2 or 3 days and you're trying to see all of the guys that are going to be factoring in for your Brewers in 2026. Man, you get to that complex when they're getting there, and everybody is a lot happier and a lot more smiling at American Family Fields of Phoenix than you're going to catch them during the 162.
Yeah, they start early. Those days start at, for the players, 7:30, 8 a.m. and the media is in there at 8 a.m. doing interviews, and that's when you really talk to them. If they have a game later in the day, then you are able to talk to them after the game. But otherwise, it's not necessarily about the games. It's obviously about more so just talking to them about the season coming up and how they're feeling and everything like that. Like Christian Yelich did yesterday, and he was able to talk to the media. He usually does it's kind of like a state of the union, so to speak, with Christian Yelich. When
just going to say that,
camp. Yes. So he arrived, I think, like Saturday in Maryvale, and then talked to the media for the first time yesterday. The full squad was there yesterday, and then officially the first workout is today. So this courtesy of Todd Rosiak of the Journal-Sentinel. And Christian Yelich asked about most really of the same position group outside of like Caleb Durbin coming back for 2026.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the same guys from last year, the last couple of years, and just continue to build and grow together. And, you saw guys make improvements last year from one year to the next. And as you kind of progress throughout your career, you try to keep getting better and keep building. So expect a lot of the same stuff from these guys, and we can continue to watch them grow and just become more, complete, veteran players.
What did you like most about what the group did last year? I mean, you kind of talk sometimes about like step one is like care, basically, and take each at bat. What impressed you?
I thought we compete really well and find ways to win and just have that edge and ability to just make the plays to win the game. Like, whoever finds themselves in that situation did a really good job of executing and doing what they needed to do to give us a chance to win, whether that was somebody on the mound, somebody at the plate, like just finding a way to contribute to a win that night.
They were obviously pretty young last year. A couple of rookie of the year candidate, top 5, Isaac Collins, Caleb Durbin, unfortunately both not coming back this year with the major league club. But I do wonder, at what point do we shift from, okay, they're a young team, to they're experienced now, like Sal Frelick is not necessarily a young new guy in the league anymore. Bryce Terang is not a young new guy, either younger but they're more experienced now. So I mean, it makes me excited because they're entering their prime and everything. And Jackson Churio is going to be still young till he's like his 5th or 6th year in the league, probably. But other than that, most of those guys, they're not necessarily young anymore, and so it makes you excited as a Brewers fan because they're heading into their prime.
Well, and it does, and people will scoff at the give a rip factor and the care factor. When it is this long of a season, on a night in and night out basis, when you're struggling, and I include the when you're struggling, that's got to be one of the toughest things.
Yeah.
Because we all have it in every walk of life, any job. Stuff gets hard. There is a moment where you're just like, look at this. Right, like what else am I supposed to do here? What else am I supposed to do here? You're pushing the pedal. It's inevitable to have that moment, but to be able to fight through that for the young player, that's it's ultimately, I think, what separates the guys that are 8 to 10 year pros and the guys that kind of flame out after a while. To be able to have that many guys going through all of those at the same time, I think it's easier to go through tough experiences with like-minded people that are in a lot similar walk of life. That's one of, I don't know that that's groundbreaking, but when you see somebody who's gotten through all of them, just chilling at the top and as comfortable and confident talking to everybody and helping with everybody else, like Yelich's voice in those struggles and those ups and downs for the young player has to be pretty difficult and different level of ability to be able to level with all of the players, right? I've been in your shoes. Maybe you weren't a first round pick like I was, but I was also a 670 OPS player. And if you have enough guys who are able to get through that, you're finding what he just mentioned there of, hey, it's going to be a care factor through the entire year, but we're going to be able to get through a ton of this stuff together.
Yeah, and the culture that Pat Murphy has instilled in the guys and the closeness of the team last year. And Yelich also talked about how good it is to be back and with the guys in the clubhouse again.
Yeah, I mean, the offseason's nice, kind of getting some time away, spend some time with friends and family, but obviously we're around these guys a lot during the year, so it's good to see everybody, and it's good to be back. Obviously, we have a close team, and guys really enjoy being around each other, so that's the cool part about the first few days of camp, is just getting to see everybody again and catch up and, talk about the offseason.
As you know, we spend a lot of time together. As you know, we spend a lot of time together, so it is nice to be able to get a couple of months away. There does have to be a good deep breath moment where you're like, I'm glad I haven't had to see Rich in about 3 months.
Yeah, that's true. Although I don't think of Yelich as the kind of guy that's going to be graded on. Although is going to start getting annoyed with people after a while. I don't see Yelich as that guy. Although you never really know with him because he kind of keeps it right here, so he keeps it even keel all the time. So maybe inside there's a blood boiling of like, boy, I got to get away from these guys right now.
Who in the Brewers clubhouse do you identify, Armen, as that guy that you just mentioned that would get annoyed with a number of individuals?
It's got to be Bryce, just because you never hear anything from him. And that's not in a bad way, but like, I think the fire burns are like, still waters run deep. And then I think Bryce, it's not that he doesn't like everybody and all these guys, they're close, but I'm sure he's like, man, these guys got to stop talking right now. Like,
I need to get the words right out of my mouth.
I need to get out of here because like these guys, and now Freddie's gone and stuff, but like the guys that are always joking around, dancing and excited all the time, the Armens of the clubhouse, they're deep down, there were people that were annoyed with me at probably that type of personality.
I don't know that it was all that deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I do. No, I think like I could see Bryce Terang again. He could be the nicest individual in the world. And Armen Sarian, who just says,
"Oh, it's
good morning, Bryce. How you doing? Everything."
Yeah.
By about the day 7, if that guy asks me one more time how I'm doing, I'm just gonna
right.
Like I can't wait to not have to listen to this guy ask me how I'm doing today.
Like if this guy tells me one more story again about every city we go to, like I just don't want to deal with it. Not that
no more historic facts.
Some guys don't want to talk.
Please.
Some guys aren't into talking as much. Some guys don't want to, it's don't want to be at 100 all the time. So that's just,
some guys live in silence. Yeah. Some guys only move in silence. Sorry, Hunter. Continue.
No. I mean, Terang and Yelich have their lockers right next to each other.
Perfect.
In the clubhouse in Milwaukee. So.
Wow, what a yin and yang.
Yeah.
Or as chilled out as you could possibly be in that corner. I love that one.
Yes, and then there's Bowers and Vaughn. So you have Vaughn, who is also not incredibly talkative as well, at least in interviews. I mean, maybe behind the scenes he is a little more, but yeah. So then also Christian Yelich asked about the NL Central, how it shapes up this year, and of course being underdogs.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a a pretty good division. Everybody kind of likes to pile on it a little bit, but I think it's a lot of good quality teams, top to bottom. I think it started to become that way last year a little bit, and even more so this year, where there's a lot of quality teams. Everybody seems to be, trying to win for the most part and put together a really competitive team, and we're doing the same thing. So at the end of the day, you still have to play the games and execute and find a way to win to see who comes out on top. But we're starting today to make sure that happens. It's one of those things where it doesn't really matter what people project at the beginning of the year, whether you're going to win the division, lose the division. Like, you have to go play the game. Just because they say one or the other doesn't really mean much either way.
Is there any part of you that likes when the projections sort of undershoot what you think the team
honestly, we just don't care. I mean, it's the same story every year. It's like I said, just because they say you're going to be bad or just because they say you're going to be good, like, you still have to play the games and play the 6-month season and everything that comes with that. And then when all that settles, you kind of find out what kind of team you were. So we kind of ignore it and block it out. And it's kind of business as usual every single season, kind of the same story. So go out and play and see where we're at.
Why do you think that is? Why is it the same story every year that you guys are always overlooked?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
I love that.
What a cap.
What
a cap.
I don't know.
Not interested in that one yet. I do like that he's as annoyed, or at least he eye rolls the prognostications as much as we do around here. I kind of like that.
Yeah. Well, they talked about that throughout the season last year. Like, they just did not care about the outside noise, what people thought about them. They were just going to go out and, I mean, look, they know it. They know that Milwaukee isn't necessarily going to be projected to beat Chicago every year, especially when Chicago does what they do in the offseason and spends the type of money they did this offseason. But look, they have as good of a chance as anybody because of the team they're bringing back.
I think Murph talking about it last year was he was the loudest, right? Like, he would, whenever it seemed like for the first month and a half, you guys mentioned everybody around you say, well, what did we do in the offseason? We subtracted. Everybody else got better. What did you expect? Everybody else got better. And there's an understanding in the Central, like, hey, you're going to have to be able to keep up. And even the Pittsburgh Pirates are offering like $100 million contracts. Now, someone signed it for $150. Maybe it wasn't all that genuine, but like, they're out here actually somewhat trying for the first time in a long time. You got the Reds, who have clearly made a conscious decision to not be cheeks every single year again, and they have a decent baseball history. So people are trying, but I do like how he mentioned, Armen, as well, like, the national perspective is just the division's going to be a walkover. Well, the AL Central might have been, but it is a flyover part of being in the Central Division. It feels like everybody on the East Coast will talk about how brutal the AL and NL East are. And then people on the West Coast only look at the Dodgers and like, well, who cares about this side? But it is a flyover spot of the competitiveness that the NL Central has put together over the last year and a half. And it is going to get better because teams are the only team now that's punting is maybe the strangest one out of all of it, guys. And that's the St. Louis Cardinals.
That's the one I was going to say, basically, is that's the one team that's pretty much said, all right, well, we're not going to try anymore to be good, and we're just going to be bad for a while, and we just don't care. Never thought that would happen, but that the prognostication about the division that it was going to be down was last year, and then it proved it wrong, so I thought it might change a little bit, but hey, I guess maybe that's part of it again, but this should be a good division.
Also, last one here for you. I thought it was a really good answer here, just talking about what the really Christian Yelich and once he went to the offseason and kind of regrouped and thought about the season, his takeaways from 2025 as a team.
It was a baseball season, there's a lot of ups and downs. I don't think we ended the year how we'd have liked to, step away from where we wanted to be. And there was a lot of good things, but, at the end, it wasn't what we wanted, right? We just didn't play well in that last series. And that's what happens, you don't play well for a few days and that's a wrap. But I thought we did a lot of good things also. And, it's a new year and we got a lot of new guys and, this team story is starting today and we'll see where it ends up. There's a lot of good things we can take from last year. It's obviously a special year for a lot of different reasons for a lot of guys. I think we were counted out more so last year than a lot of the years. There was a lot of question marks going into it. you know, we're not going to talk too much about last year is because it's last year and it has no really impact on this year, good or bad. You know, the one thing I will say about last year is I thought it was cool to, you know, see people and see the fan base kind of rally around that team. And that's the cool thing about baseball and what special teams can do like that is it brings people together. You watch people create memories with their friends, their family, and there's cool energy in the city, and it makes those kind of seasons more special when it's like that. And, you know, you obviously wish you could have taken it the whole way because of how special it was, but guys that were around last year can kind of see that and try to create more of the same kind of you know, magic going into this year.
Do love hearing him talk the wistfully and appreciatively about the city, right? Like, I mean, obviously he's been here long enough. Like you know that it was going to be, and it at some point we'll tug on the heartstrings to see people be able to make those memories. But I just like every time I hear Christian Yelich, Hunter, it brings me back to my first spring training situation. I'm there with the franchise and two individuals that I used to work with, and Gary Ellerson, right, played in the NFL, played for the Badgers. Like you're not necessarily gonna not be yourself in the situation, right? Gary's gonna be unapologetically. GE's gonna be him. All right. And so we're in there and he's talking, and Christian Yelich weaves through to go and grab something. Just got traded. And he's like, "Hey man, can we talk? Can we get you for a couple minutes?" And you know, Yelich very shy, like, no. And Gary just like backhand palm right to the chest. "Come on, brother. We just 4 players for you, $100 million. Everyone want to hear from you, man. Come on now. Everyone wants to hear from you. Can we get 2 minutes?" And all right, yeah, sure, fine. And then in the conversation, he was really good, but you could tell it was like not that it's going to be hard to get him to speak. He wants to say something, not necessarily profound, but it seems like he wants to say something that is going to matter at the end of the day, right? And like to be able to hear him talk about the city and how much it mattered to everybody around, I thought that was pretty cool for somebody who was, I mean, he obviously grew up and was born and raised in California. Early part of his career is going to be in Miami, but there's a different portion of his life, his real adult life, has been spent pretty much only here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, and it was a special season, and it's going to be interesting because I think a lot of us we're going to compare it to last year as we go throughout this season because of how fresh it is and how special it was. And you know, kind of 2018 sticks out, right? There's those years that stick out. 2025 is going to be one, but hopefully they can kind of prove people wrong again. Because again, it's kind of back to that. Yeah, they're going to be counted out a little bit because of what they subtracted instead of added in the offseason.
I'm not going to talk about last season, Armen, but really quick, one thing about last season. I do appreciate. He's like, hey, I'm not going to do this. I am just going to say one last thing, but it's bad. I like that. I just put it to go.
I do think some fans have to like that he didn't say, you know what, it was a great year. We won a lot of games. We won one of the biggest playoff series in a game 5. So like he didn't rest on the laurels of the positives of what it was. Cause you know, that's one of those NFL films yearbook years. You can make that the big year. Like, oh, we won this big playoff series and we had a crowning achievement and all these things. Like, no, we want to get to the World Series. We expected to. And because we didn't, we weren't happy with it. So you have to like that. If you're like a ring guy, championship or bust guy, you have to like that he didn't sit there and talk about like, oh, we did so many great things and it was the season of dreams and all that. Because for a lot of fans, it still was. You know, hey, we lost to the Dodgers, but it was still one of those unbelievable years. But he's like, no, we want to win World Series. So pretty cool.
But I thought and Armen, I know we're going out and we're going to get Dolph here on the other side, but I do think he did a perfect job of just like a little nod to that, like what special runs can do. It was a run. But we want a deeper run. And now we have become accustomed to seeing this run. We want to see what the next ring of the ladder is like and being able to get back to the place that this team has only been one time in 1982. Scott Dolphin going to join us coming up on the other side. I'm Billy Schmidt hanging out with us. Our friend Brian is on the Facebook chat as well. He said living in Fort Myers, listening to you guys every morning. He's a post gamer as well. Gator Gorman hanging out with us. We're glad you're partying with us and hanging out with us, Gorman, waking up with us across the country on the iHeartRadio app, YouTube, and X, as well as Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Huddle up. It is Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Billy Schmidt alongside Armen, and Hunter Baumgart in for Drew Olson today. And Scott Dolphin rolls in from FM 106.1. Dolph, you missed the action this morning. I don't know if the boys filled you in.
What happened?
We had a little bit of a potential kerfuffle this morning when we fired this bad boy up 6:00 here at the Hills, the adult 55 and over facility that we're staying at with my parents here.
Hills? Yeah, the Hills, not like the Pines and Mark Gables or
Cypress Hills or there's like everything. There's like 94 different signs out in these front areas, and every one of these places kind of looks the same along these golf courses. So it's the Hills, the Eye, whatever it ends up being. One of these spots, Dolph. We had some action. I woke up one of the individuals, and he grabbed some pebbles and was throwing it up here, trying to throw us off our game because we threw him off his morning routine. So, but it does seem like everything's calmed down. But we had some action this morning. It was an interesting start.
Yeah, right off the bat, you threw me because you said hills, and I think Florida. That's kind of an oxymoron, isn't it? Are there actually hills in Florida?
No, very much man-made over here on this golf course. Like, I mean, this like 13-foot undulation that I think these guys are trying to hit over here on their par 5. That would be about it. But you're right. Yes, it would be the Palms or something like that. But they'll find different ways for it.
So no, wait. Not only was you in Eastern time, that you're also on the golf course there. So guys hit balls into this guy's yard anyway,
all the time,
his windows. So this guy again has less to complain about for me. So I'm getting more and more mad with old boy below Billy that's crying about this right now. Go cry somewhere else, big guy. And Dolph, really quick, you brought up something to us. It's Fat Tuesday. He should be celebrating. Right?
He should be. It is Fat Tuesday.
We forgot to mention that it's Fat Tuesday. Just like yesterday, I forgot to mention it was President's Day. So I'm not on top of my game here this week.
Well, President's Day is one of those days where, if you're in banking or in education or in government, you probably don't pay as much attention to it unless you're looking for a sweet deal at Best Buy where maybe you can get half off.
Everything on
President's Day sale.
Yeah, or Bob's Discount Furniture or something like that.
Yeah, but Fat Tuesday is pretty special around Milwaukee, and I knew nothing about this tradition before I got here. But the punchki, I don't even know how to say it. It's spelled with a K and a Z.
Yeah,
P-A-Z-C-Z-K-I.
It's a big deal here.
The question is, the traditional punchki only is prune filling. Do you mess with the prune filling?
Disgusting. No one's eating the prune filling.
Nobody wants the prune one.
No one's eating the prune filling one.
Listen,
someone's Polish.
Oh, come on.
I'm going to get
Polish people out there going to get mad at me saying, no, my grandma would only eat the prune and we only eat the prune. That's the Polish way and all that stuff.
Yeah, so what I was told by a Polish friend was it's prune, lemon is another one that's acceptable.
I will crush the lemon.
And then some sort of cream. I will go home today, and everybody, including my wife, just did what you do, Billy. They say, I can't believe you're eating that prune stuff. But I like the prune. It comes in the powdered sugar. Punchki. She likes the lemon, but I'll hit Syndic's on the way home today because that's the closest. And they're a machine, man. You walk in the front door, they've got the table right there. They've got dudes with bakery racks going back and forth. So that's where I'll be going. But all of the bakeries today, National
Bakery, Greebies, they're all doing big work today. Yep. And I will be getting the text from my dad soon. Do you guys have any free punchkis at the station? Bring some over.
Shannon, my partner, brought some in. Sorry, Billy. So we do have some today.
Well, Dolph, because you were just you almost stepped right on the hornet's nest. That is one of my favorite parts of Fat Tuesday in the city, is because Armen will wonder when we used to live in a proper radio society, when there was just like, when he just asked, why are there not boxes of these punchkis just sitting here in the back? Why are there not just boxes of these punchkis back here?
He's right.
I do say that once a year now. It does seem like that. It feels like those days, and maybe it was COVID, we used to have so many of them. We used to be up to our noses in jelly-filled donuts.
And cream puffs around steaks.
Up to our ears in cream.
And Bell Ambulance used to drop off tray after tray of cannoli.
The cannolis. My gosh, I used to feast on cannolis.
Yeah.
But hey, what am I going to do?
The good old days.
What am I going to do? The nice thing is I'm not going to complain about it. So
good.
Well, I am glad you're not going to complain about it, because that would have been something that you totally would have done in a prior life. But it is, and I even saw like the Potawatomi's Cream City Coffee was firing in a punchki sale. Everyone's jumping on it. Dolph, I guess I'll try. I guess I can't knock the prune because I don't know that I've actually ever grabbed the prune one.
Sure.
I'll admit that one.
I don't know if there's actual prunes in the prune punchki, I know it's prune flavored, but I've always liked sweeter fruits. And I know people make fun of prunes. It's, it keeps you moving and all that stuff.
Aren't they more bitter?
Lord knows
prunes are sweet. They're like an apricot.
Yeah.
Yeah, prune juice is bitter. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
No, it's not. What are you drinking over there?
I don't drink prune juice, but one time I don't want to get too. One time I drank some prune juice for a reason.
Yeah.
And I didn't find it all that sweet or tasty. You're saying it's sweet?
Normally it's sweet. I haven't had prune juice in a long time, but I eat prune.
Yeah, when you have the day old version, it's probably a lot grosser. Like, I mean, when you have the one that has the reduced tag on it, that's probably why the prune juice wasn't so sweet. It was a little sour because it's been sitting there for a long time.
Hey, look, I figured discount prune juice was fine. All right, I mean, prunes themselves are dried.
Yeah, well, that's there. It does say that prunes are usually in there. Pitted prunes, and then some small amount of water, sugar, lemon juice, lemon zest, and then you get kind of that thick mashed blended paste if you enjoy a prune punchki.
That sounds delicious.
Hunter I know Hunter loves. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. You like dessert cake. Cake is your thing.
That is my go-to dessert.
Are you a big punchki guy? Like, are you a big donut guy?
Yeah, I enjoy a donut. I don't have them as much.
It's not your thing.
Yeah. So I think that's hey, look,
sounds like
not bad.
Sounds like Hunter needs to be availed of a king cake to celebrate Fat Tuesday.
The king cake is
if we're gonna celebrate Fat Tuesday, then we go get you a king cake if you're a cake guy.
And then you see if there's something in it, right?
That's right. You look for the baby.
You gotta go find it. You gotta go find the baby.
Show me the
baby.
I
remember that in school.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I am not a king cake guy. I've never really cared for the texture and the. It's almost like they're doing it on the cheap. But they're not cheap. They can be very expensive. And it's glitter and it's
all the glitter thing, but the frosting can be, the colors are cool. Yeah, but
the colors are cool.
There's probably some margins involved.
It's kind of like a poor man's cinnamon roll. Now I'm sure.
Whoa!
I'm sure
it's like a funfetti cake meets cinnamon roll, and both sides are not as good as it probably could be. I'm kind of with Dolph on that one.
But I love tradition, and I love the story behind the king cake, and I think it probably goes back to the birth of Christ or something, right? I mean, if it's a little baby in a cake, I'm sure.
I don't know if that was biblical. Somehow. I don't know if they were in Jerusalem baking king cakes, but maybe.
What else? Right. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there was something else. I know that there was some myrrh that was dropped off.
Well, you had 3 kings.
But maybe they grabbed him a cake too.
You did have 3 kings. You had the gifts.
Myrrh was
we're in Wisconsin. It was a Kringle. I apologize.
Yeah, gold frankincense and myrrh. Now it would be king cake. You know what else you bring to the party? You know, it's like dip and summer sausage. Yeah.
What a combo!
Appearance with bringing the dip to the dessert platter. Dolph, as we're enjoying the Fat Tuesday celebration, it does also then bring into. I guess I get to give up talking about giving something up for Lent. That'll be fun to be able to get into tomorrow for the conversation. But I appreciate the fact that now I'll just be able to feast on a couple of Klondike bars tonight, and then I don't have to feel bad about it.
Yeah, giving up for Lent. I remember as a kid, grew up Catholic. I used to dread Lent because I thought, first off, what am I going to give up?
Sure.
And my mom would always tell me, now it can't be something that you don't really like, because that was kind of my MO at the time. Well, I'm going to.
Mom was always fact checking you.
Yeah, she says you don't even like that. You got to give up something you like. So that was. I thought, how am I going to live without this particular thing for the next 6 weeks? And then how am I not going to eat meat on Friday for the next 6 weeks? You always found a way. Yep. But the struggle was real when you were 9, 10 years old, man, back in the day.
Because you have to give up something that's worth giving up, like that's gonna count. Like you can't just say, "Hey, I'm giving up broccoli." You have to give up something you indulge in, right?
Yeah, my Protestant friends would rub it in my face. They'd be sitting there eating brats in front of me. How's it going, bro? Oh, having fish again, huh?
Well, and the best thing is I went to a Catholic grade school growing up, so we had all of the fish sticks and everything else for lunch on Fridays. Dolph, I don't eat anything that swims, so any kind of scent of the fish becomes a little bit of a trigger and a reflex for your boy. Yeah. Little did I know that I was going to raise a kid who literally asks for tuna fish to go to bed with. So as a nighttime snack, can we get some tuna fish? So I guess I'm prepared for that part. Is I don't even worry about the sacrifice or the giving something up. It's the fact that I got to smell so much fish all the time.
No,
and then I got to talk to people about it all the time as to why I don't eat fish, because it's slimy and weird tasting. That's why I know you guys make it better than everybody else. I know that the folks over here at your spot for Friday Fish Fry, I have to try that one because it'll be so much better than everyone else's. No, it won't be. It'll be the same slimy piece of fish, and I appreciate that you like it, but stop trying to make it and force it down my throat. No pause.
What about some deep fried coconut shrimp, Billy?
Here we go again, Billy. They're trying to convince you. Yep. What about if you have it with this? What about this?
I mean, tuna fish is a very odoriferous smelling fish when you open that can.
Good word. Good word.
He chose little one chose. Yeah, that's quite a choice there if you're not loving the smell
of
fish.
G.
And then you just decide.
My dad hates it. What a G. I love
it.
Hey,
make me some tuna fish before bed.
Was there a traumatic experience in your past growing up that you just decided you didn't like fish?
Yeah, eating it.
Yeah. Thank you, Armen. Thank you. Yes, eating it. I probably did throw it up one time, right? Like there might have been a moment where it was. But I just don't like the texture. I don't like the smell. I don't like the way it feels in my hands. Like correct. Thank you. To me, it feels like a pause-worthy moment the whole time I'm eating dinner. And I can't have it. I will go with a lot of cheese pizzas potentially through this. Sure. Or I'll just walk over with a steak and I'll sit down and my wife will be like,
cheat. Yeah.
You know what day it is? I'm like, me and the big guy we got a deal. All right, we got a deal. We're wiping this one clean. We'll talk about it next week.
Well, if you get special permission from the big guy, or remember this happened on opening day several years ago. The Archbishop stepped in and said, "It is okay for this one Good Friday.
He gave us a
you can eat brats and Dominus Solus. You're all good. Go ahead and have your bratwurst on Good Friday."
Yeah, I'm not eating any bean brats or whatever
I haven't tried that. I have eaten the black bean burger.
They're good. They're okay.
That's all right.
Laura loves me.
That is good.
Yeah, they're okay. I like beans, but it's just not the same. It doesn't replace it. No. It's not that I dislike it. It just doesn't replace it.
If we gave Billy a taste test, could he decide the difference between a black bean burger or an Impossible burger and a real burger?
Yes. I think he could.
Now, the Impossible one, I don't know that I would get.
Some of those are really good, really tough.
Yeah. Because I will, and I'll mess around with the black bean burger every once in a while. I'll definitely always choose real burger with meat.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit medium to get a little pink in there because I don't want it mooing, but I want to feel a little bit of it.
Sure.
I would definitely say though, Dolph, they do some pretty impressive stuff with some of those mock burgers that are not nearly as bad as I would like to tell my wife they are.
Northwestern Wisconsin near Superior, if you ever get to that area, Duluth, the wild rice burgers are outstanding.
Interesting.
A lot of work. There's a place up there called Fitger's in Duluth, Minnesota.
What a tip.
I'm serious. You try that burger, you're going to freaking love it. Wild rice is a big thing in that area.
I love wild rice.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too.
I never have it, but I should
see it that often.
Right.
And it's actually I learned when I was in Duluth Superior. It's not actually rice. It's grass. It's wild grass. Wild rice is wild grass. There you go.
Interesting.
There's your fact of the day.
I love this.
There's your fact of the day, and there's your way to stay healthy on Fat Tuesday. So now when you're eating your fourth punchki, be like, yeah, but I'm gonna have a wild rice burger later. So it's gonna be okay. I'm an offset.
On Ash Wednesday, sure.
Dolph, always appreciate it, brother. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, good luck with your neighbor down there.
Thank you. I already have a call into the HOA president. I apparently have a hearing at noon. So we'll see.
Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, Armen, hearing at noon. We're supposed to vent the.
You actually have a hearing?
I don't know.
Is that real?
I don't know. I was told at noon they will hear the.
Is this like
this is
Corbin Burns Milwaukee Brewers situation, or is this?
This is arbitration. Yeah.
It kind of seems like it might be, but we're gonna see. It'll be an interesting conversation. We'll have one. And listen, I don't necessarily know, but they know that it's some idiot talking into a microphone. They might not know how dumb I can be, but how long I will talk. So there will be some hearing that is said as the radio guy steps up there and explains why the hell he's talking into a microphone out on someone's patio, maybe at like 6 o'clock in the morning. But we'll figure it out. And Armen, I feel pretty confident we're gonna win.
I agree because I don't think you're ever gonna give up. I think you're gonna wear the guy down. I don't think you're ever gonna let this guy think he won, and you're gonna wear him down, and he's gonna be like, "Fine, I'm just leaving."
I'll get a hotel tonight. All right, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize the battle he might be in for. Superhero of the day comes up on the other side. Hunter Baumgart's in for Drew Olson. Armen's right there. I'm Billy. It's the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Welcome back to the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Billy Schmid, Armen Sarian, Hunter Baumgart here with you live on YouTube and X, as well as Fox Sports Radio, Milwaukee, 920 AM, 1070 in Madison. Time now for our superhero of the day, presented by Current Electric. If you have electrical issues and you're like me, where I can hit a switch to turn the lights on, maybe change a light bulb. After that, I call the superheroes from Current Electric. There are a lot of companies to choose from when you need electrical services in your home and or business. However, only one wants to earn your trust and earn your business. That's Current Electric. Give them a call and give them a chance to earn your trust and your business at callcurrent.com. That's callcurrent.com. Callcurrent.com for more information. Current Electric, home of the superheroes. Fellas, now we're going to cue this conversation up a little bit later because there is going to be a superhero in the future that I can prognosticate out with the NFLPA report cards. However, I got to say the superhero of the day, in all respect, did Scott Dolphin drop in there that Shannon O at the country station down the hall brought punchkis?
Yes.
The superhero of the day is the person that brings in the punchkis to the office today. Because in just about everybody's work, there will be somebody that brings in treats. And that individual is the hero that's walking amongst us. That is the person that is brightening everyone's day to a level that sure. Is that $16 for a dozen, which used to maybe be $8? Is that going to be a little bit more than you would like to spend? Yeah, it is maybe a little bit more than you like to spend. However, the cost is never too much for the smile it puts on someone's day and the belly that it gives a satisfaction full feeling to when they eat their first one and then that next punchki where you slice it in half and all the filling drips underneath, Armen, and somebody has to go and scoop it out like it's a chip to be able to get the rest of that filling.
That is part of the tradition as well, and you're right, Billy. Everybody has that one hero today at the office that brings in the punchies for everybody. And that's quite a hero. And today our hero was Shannon O.
Yes.
And we'll be enjoying those. Trust me. What do we have? 5 minutes in the break. I'm going to be searching high and low for these sweet treats that she brought in.
Oh, so you haven't been able to find them yet? We haven't located them yet?
I haven't a chance to go yet, but trust me, I'm carving out some time here mentally. I know what's going to be going on here. And
I thought
as soon as I hit that break, I'm out of here.
I thought you flew right out of that studio in the last
I should have
commercial break.
No, but this one I will be. Yeah.
Well, give a report, and in the third hour, we will talk and hear a little bit more Christian Yelich because there were a couple of pieces that we missed from his conversation yesterday. Hunter Baumgart, our Brewers insider, is in for Drew Olson. He's got that sound. Armen's right there. I'm Billy. It's the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Columbus. UW beat Ohio State by 10 last month. Yesterday, Nick Boyd was named the conference's men's basketball player of the week. He averaged 27 points and 4.5 assists during wins over two top 10 teams at Illinois and then home against Michigan State. Bucks basketball returns from the All-Star break this Friday in New Orleans against the Pelicans. They are trending in the right direction. They won 5 of their last 6 entering the All-Star break. Of course, the big question is, when will Giannis return? Friday will mark 4 weeks since his calf injury. Predictions were 4 to 6 weeks, so hopefully he'll be back later this month. The Brewers officially signed infielder Luis Rengifo to a 1-year deal on Monday. He hit .238 with 9 home runs last year with the Angels. He spent 7 seasons in Anaheim. Brewers have their first full squad session today. They'll begin Cactus League play Saturday against the Guardians. And the U.S. women's hockey team took out Sweden yesterday, so the Stars and Stripes will battle Canada for the Olympic gold medal on Thursday. The Huddle is next. I'm Scott Dolphin on Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love with the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you. You need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with a number of cameras.
Take the cameras off the field, then there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on 1. Ready, Biller for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 jet. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red right 18 bob on 1. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We got exactly what we got to do. All right? That's all we're going to y'all do. Let's go out and kick some tape. All right? Hey, yo. 1, 2, 3.
Keep doing what you're doing. You got to sit our guys down and make the play.
B right, all the way outside. Y left, fake 396 bag. B hand, C puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmidt,
Oh, my God. This man's been out all night.
and Armen Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
All right, hour 3 of the Huddle, and we've reached it here on Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. We had our beautiful halftime entertainment from our guy Scott Dolphin, superhero of the day. Even though Leon on our YouTube account did say staff buying the Punchkis feels wrong. Did we get this? Did we get our superhero of the day? Were we able to acquire the Punchki during the break? That's a beautiful one right there, Armen Sarian.
Yes. Now, can you tell that's my dad that he wants a free one as well? Now, yes, thank you, Shannon. I went right over to the studio, right down the hall, the country station down the hall.
I like that, yeah.
Right there to make sure she had the box of them. Now she had the cream ones with the chocolate, which is what I picked up, as you can see there, and the raspberry ones.
Ooh.
So not only did she bring them in, she brought the ones everybody wanted. And I appreciate that about her. I didn't waste her time with the prune stuff. Lemon I'm okay with, but raspberry or the Bavarian cream with the chocolate. So everybody's Polish today, right, guys? Everybody's Polish today on Fat Tuesday.
Yeah, and Armen, you're right. The best thing is that she brought the stuff that everybody wants, right? As much as you appreciate the tradition, give me a Boston cream donut. I'm gonna feel a lot better. That's basically what you just said right there. Like I got myself.
That's it.
I got myself a chocolate glaze on top of this thing, no pause, and it's gonna be tremendous. Now, Dolph did mention he'll go with the powdered sugar Punchki more than like just the sprinkled sugar on top. That is the right move. Like the powdered sugar,
I think so.
Always tastes better. But Hunter, you better not be wearing anything black because you take one bite of that powdered sugar donut, even if you don't even take a breath out, it's getting everywhere all over you instantly.
It is, and then you're like, wait, and then it's a couple hours later, you're like, I still can't get this off me. It's like then it's on the seat of your car and
rubbing it all in.
That's true. It's like glitter cards.
It is.
It's like you guys got to stop buying glitter cards.
True.
No glitter cards, no glitter bags, no glitter wrapping paper. Stop with the glitter. It
Well,
gets
that's
all
where
over the trunk.
And that's where I agree on the king cake with Dolph. Like it's a great idea. It is a beautiful piece when it gets dropped off. But then it is one where I'm gonna be picking this glitter up all next 3 days. And by that, I'm not picking it up. So it's just gonna sit there for days on end. And then all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, I'm like, what is there glitter on my finger for? And then you're answering a question as to why you have glitter on you at 3 a.m. So there's a lot of things you don't want to have happen and a lot of potentials that you just take out of the equation of your life. Do that. And get the punchkis that people want. Get yourself some chocolate with some cream inside. Raspberry's a great touch. Raspberry also seems like, Armen, maybe a fruit that's seeing an uptick here lately.
I think it's underrated. I think absolutely raspberries are underrated. I think also, I've been talking to you guys many years about one day having fruit trees.
Yes.
Now that I have a backyard, I do think that's going to be tougher than I thought initially when I've done the research. But a raspberry bush seems more doable. So maybe I'll get into that at some point.
We had raspberries growing up. They came about. The thing about raspberries is they kind of come. Your best years are every other year. So like you have a really good year, and then the next year maybe it's not as good, and then so you're kind of every other year depending.
What if you have 2 bushes and you stagger them?
Well, then I think that's perfect. Now we were all. I mean, we had a big area of it, so I don't know how many total we had. Because they can easily spread.
Grow up like Hunter,
I like the Hunter. Now
that was the only fruit we had in the yard, but that we had. Well, the last few years we've had apple trees.
Our neighbors had pear trees, and my dad was annoyed with them all the time because they weren't edible. They didn't take care of the tree enough to make them edible. And then he's like, "There's pears are in my yard." Classic neighbor dad stuff.
Yep. Well, that's the problem. If you don't take care of them, then they're just crab apples that fall down, and then you can't eat them. And then all of a sudden, I bring them over to my mom, and I'm like, "Wash this off." She goes, "Billy, you can't have that one.
You can't eat these, Billy.
It was sitting in the backyard. Why can I not eat it? It came off the tree." So I'm with you, Armen. Like I had 4 or 5 different beautiful dreams and visions of apple tree,
fruit tree,
just maybe even really get adventurous and throw some other, the vegetables. Everyone's got tomatoes, right?
Everyone's got a tomato bush. Everyone can grow tomatoes. All right, I wanted middle school.
I wanted to try to step up a little bit, and my wife goes, "Don't be a hero.
Don't be Corey Banky.
Just plant something." And try to keep it alive, and that's probably a good deal because I don't think we've kept anything alive that's been in the house other than the 2 kids. Like I think those are probably the 2 that are most important to keep alive. But anything around us doesn't have a great green thumb. So I'm really fascinated by how Hunter's raspberry bush rolls over to your house because Armen, I do think you're gonna take on the quest of getting some fruit and some produce in that backyard, right?
I'd love to, because you know why I want to do it, because produce is getting expensive, and you know me.
Thank you.
I'm trying to save that money. Now, I would love to do that. Now I have to watch out for the critters. We have to keep the critters out of the yard. All right, that's one thing I have to worry about. But but maybe that is the next step, Billy. And I'm glad we talked about it because you have an HOA potentially trial. I'm going to say trial. I'm not going to say
learning a lot about it. Yeah, learning a lot about it now.
Or as Mike Witt said, hearing. And is the hearing
people want to know if it's going to be televised,
like the OJ trial on Court TV?
Court TV.
John Kurzau wants to know the Boca Vista board. Great Seinfeld reference. I don't know, Billy, if we're going to have that. I do know Boss Dobler, which is the new Dobler, by the way. I got a little bone to pick with the new Dobler. Now, this is Boss Dobler. Now, he changed his name to the Boss. So I don't know if this is like the head Dobler of the Dobblers. Not that great of a show today, guys. You're mailing in with all these canned interviews, coasting. We've had 0 canned interviews.
I don't know what he's talking about.
He's referring. I said, we haven't had any interviews. He said, what do you call these Brewer audio clips? I said, this is Christian Yelich sound yesterday that we thought Brewer fans, of which there are many listening to these very airwaves, might be interested in. So,
and the clips are like 1 minute. A canned interview is a 12 to 15-minute interview or longer.
And trust me, we'll do those.
I'm not letting that pass.
And trust me, Dobler, we'll be doing those. I apologize to let you know that those will happen.
he does respect you working on your vacation. So there you go, Dobbler. I couldn't let that pass. But Billy, any more updates on the hearing before we get to those Yelich clips? Sorry, Dobbler.
We got more of them for him.
I was going to say, Dobbler, stick to it. We got two more really, really good ones for you. No, it seems like everything's kind of calmed down. I think we're all going to hear our day out. I do believe there's some things I can do. Again, you know me, I'm a point thumbs kind of guy. So I do think there's some things I can do to maybe soundproof this area a little bit more, to not be the guy that's sitting outside people's window at 6 a.m. yelling.
No, you'd like to be neighborly. I'm sure you'd like to.
I'm definitely trying to look at some solutions here. So we're gonna try that out. But yeah, we've I've jotted down some notes. I've jotted down an opening statement, and so I think it'll be okay. I think we're gonna figure it out. I think we'll be okay.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
You've got some messages here on the YouTube chat. Now I cannot click on them, Armen. Here, sorry,
I'll get
inside baseball. Way back in the beginning, before we get to those Christian Yelich audio clips, Mike Witt did ask us a question, and I don't want this one to get passed because I think it's one that's pretty red meat for everybody here on a beautiful February the 17th. We do allow people to ask us for advice. Mike Witt, morning, boys. Got one question for you. I'm going to my 30th high school reunion this year. What were Billy, Armen, and Hunter like in high school? And who was sitting at the cool kids table? Well, Armen Sarian was the cool kids table.
I mean, we've talked about it many times. Of course, I was the prom king, so I don't need to. We don't need to go into that anymore.
Yeah.
But one thing
wherever Armen Sarian was.
I'll say this: one thing I wanted to do in my reign as king in my kingdom, I wanted to be a benevolent king. All right. So when you talk about the cool kids table, that didn't exist in my society, in my kingdom.
You weren't having that. You weren't allowing
together. There were no classes of people. We were all the cool kids, and I would try and sit at as many tables as possible to spread my, benevolence around. And I'm telling you, my people loved me when I was the king. They had those big pictures of me.
As they should.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great kingdom. I was like a benevolent king. Let me tell you something.
So hold on. Did you get fathead treatment on the bench in high school basketball senior year after being the prom king? Were they bringing pictures of Armen Sarian to wave in the student section?
I didn't, but then again, Billy, I also went to high school before fatheads existed, I think.
Okay.
So you have to realize
that's fair. Yes, that's fair.
My mom always had a sign for me when we went to when she came to the volleyball games. Because my jersey number was 1, and she always had the number 1 as my son's sign. So that counts. That's as good as it gets.
That's good.
That is as good as it gets right there. So, and she saw a lot of it right behind the bench as she saw my number 1 in the back when I was sitting there. It was great. So,
I do like that she had that sign, that number 1 in the scorebook and in my heart.
That's what I'm saying. She would love it. I was
That's
like,
a great one.
I was like, I got number 1 this year. My mom was so excited about that. She goes, that's perfect. That's great. The greatest number. So there you go.
Beautiful one.
Hunter,
now,
I would think was a kind soul that everybody knew and respected. I think
that's what I was.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to put it. I don't know if I was at necessarily the cool kids table. Maybe the cool kids of the band table.
I like
part of the band throughout the year.
And more importantly, Hunter, can we just you did go to school like where there were tables and you guys had tech and stuff. Put this Armen thing to bed. Like you did go to a high school that people are going to like. It is going to be very similar to what everybody else remembered. Okay,
correct. I went to a public high school that hundreds of other kids went to, and we did have technology. There was Ethernet within the building.
All right.
And Wi-Fi as well. So there
computers and everything. It was wild. It was
we did. So. I was able to, have a pretty normal high school experience, I would say.
Now, I was probably the annoying kid that no one necessarily fully hated, but nobody necessarily really loved, right? Because I think I was annoying enough where I would probably cause enough problems, and everyone would find a reason to be rather annoyed. But I think
they were entertained by you, though. I would say.
I would think
based on
potentially
because you were not. I don't want to say class clown, but you were always willing to cut up a little bit and like let everyone know I got jokes. So they were probably entertained by your antics.
Yeah, there were definitely the certain folks that said, "All right, now stop trying so hard, fatty. All right, like let's stop with the jokes here. Let's get to the learning." I think one of my favorites though was sophomore year, junior year. in a math class. Mr. Stino was our teacher. I remember that. And this young girl, Leah, who was in a very different group of friends, right? She was more with the very like musically inclined, some would say like kind of emo or goth kind of deal.
Okay.
But super cool, right? So I sat down and
yeah.
I sat down right next to her and 3 of her friends in this little quad box of desks, right? Where they put everybody together. And
oh yeah. Yep.
So boy sits down, start riffing. What's going on? There's eyes just looking at me like,
this guy talking to us?
What? Like, you guys, what's happening?
What's
are you guys
happening?
doing?
Yeah.
Why are you talking to us? Like, what do you mean? We're sitting here. Like, you hang out with like different people than us, and like the cooler friends and people do. I'm like, hold on. First off, that's not true. Second of all, we're in this together. All right. So we got problems if we're not going to be able to talk. I appreciate every conversation.
That's
and
right.
Then I just start dunking on all the people that they start bringing up. That's when I think I really earned the senior superlative of Gossip King.
I love that.
Okay.
Because I'll fire those out.
And you brought people together by doing that.
Yes, he could play in the different pools, so to speak, right?
I
He
was
could,
swimming in every pool.
Yes,
And I was
yes.
going to have any conversation possible. So
you thought these are the cool kids? No. Let's make fun of them together. I like
they're
that,
the
Bill.
worst.
Mhm.
Oh my God, this guy, he's the worst. Oh, what an absolute hole. So that was fun to then live around. So I thought in high school, I'd probably be the one that was well talked to, not necessarily well liked or well known.
But everyone talked to. Like a bartender almost in a way where everyone had a sounding board to them. You know what I mean?
That is the perfect way of explaining it, Armen. I was the high school bartender because anybody would want to talk to, and you could fire a problem off. I'd be able to spin it around and have the conversation. I was always game for the talk, probably not for much of the learning. But yeah, that was a moment when all the teachers, I assume in the lounge, had a conversation to say, I don't know who we put this guy next to. I don't know who we put this guy next to.
Right.
He will chirp all day. He will be laughing during every one of your lesson plans. All period. We could put him in the corner and he'd find a way to have a conversation with the doorknob that's too loud for everybody else to be able to not distract from the learning environment. So
you were available. You know what you were, Billy? You were actually the Chat GPT of the community, of the high school. You were willing to talk to everybody and anybody and have a conversation, and you were always available to talk.
I was real life Ask Jeeves.
You were the you were Jeeves. You were the Ask Jeeves, Chat GPT. You were all those things.
Our school mascot was the Rangers. And so every year we had a Mr. Ranger that we had a competition for right before winter break. And then you were the Mr. Ranger for the next year. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Billy would have been a good Mr. Ranger.
What's that mean? Like you
really
were the mascot, or you were like
I was the mascot.
You see, I just think, well, you wore like kind of a Ranger hat, but otherwise there wasn't like an outfit you were in. So like you knew who they are, but they would lead chants in the student section and things. And obviously Billy would be on the field for the football games and stuff, but otherwise, they would be, so they'd be going around and I feel like Billy would be a good Mr. Ranger.
Mr. Ranger.
That is wow. That's a hell of a identification by you, Hunter, because that's pretty spot on. That's pretty spot on.
I think so.
I do think there's some picture of me in the yearbook leading a student section in like a women's basketball outfit from like the 1980s.
Oh, that's great.
Tough look for an offensive lineman, but it's out there. I like it.
That's part of it, though, isn't it? I mean, raiding the old uniform cabinet was always like a tradition. Like everybody always did that. Let's go find the old stuff. Let's go put on the warm-ups from the 70s and stuff like that. People would always find those
because somehow they're still in here, and we're going to find them and bring them out, and everybody's going to need it.
And then now, everyone loves vintage. You could probably sell them on eBay for like $100.
See, that's the thing. I should have held on to them.
Totally.
As long as we would have just been smarter, I could have in 30 years been the big Vegas Pete to some of my kids, classmates. Been like, yeah, but look at these candy cane blue and yellow Whitnell pants.
That's exactly it.
You guys missed out when we were really rolling, and you had this kind of Falcon rolling out here. Good stuff. I do appreciate that. Also, high school reunions. they still going to roll on? Is that going to be a thing going forward?
This has been a take I've had for a while, though. I think social media has kind of killed the high school reunion. I think they still exist. We had a 10-year, but it really wasn't much, and we don't have a 20-year.
Ooh, this is my 10.
I don't think they occur anymore. And it's
I haven't heard
sad.
anything, but maybe I wasn't with the.
They used to be the one point of
cool
contact. Well, no,
learning pretty quickly, Hunter, if you were in the cool kids club or not. Yeah,
right. Like, how do you? Yeah, like.
Well, because Armen, you're right. It was for my 10-year reunion would have happened a couple of years ago, and we were in a spot where like 3 people were messaging everybody on Facebook asking if anybody was going to come. And I think it was like there was maybe 30 people. So like, I don't know that it has the same gravitational pull that it once did, because you can flex on, the girl that said no to you back in the day, or buddy that shoved you into a locker with what your success is on Facebook way better, or Instagram way better.
You can keep track of everybody on there. You can see what everybody's doing. It's not like you go back 10 years and you're like, oh, you're doing that. You're doing this job. You're doing that. You have a couple kids now. That's great. Like that you learn that instantly the day after the kids are born now. Right? Yeah. So it's of people, because you just follow them, right? Like in high school or whatever, just after it's like, oh yeah, I'll follow them. And then you just know what's happening in their life.
And there hasn't been enough written on this, but I think that the high school reunion, which was an American institution that was romanticized, an iconic thing that I grew up like thinking like this was a big deal. You always going to go to your high school reunion. They've basically been killed off like by, I would say, partly social media, because they don't serve the necessity, but also there's this apathy and cynicism now about seeing people again that used to not exist. You used to get excited and like, oh, like even someone coming to the door was exciting when I grew up, but now it's like, everybody back away, get in the panic room, they lock the door. It's just different now, and that's just the way it is. Whereas my mom went to her 50th recently, and they have them consistently every 5 years, and they also get together. That generation, I remember my grandma having like her 60th or 70th reunion. It was like a big deal.
See, that would be cool. Like once you get to like 30, 40, that's kind of cool. To me, that's, so then.
Well, I think people are like, why do I need a high school reunion? I just saw the you bought a power drill and I saw it on Facebook.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And instead, Armen, you ask all the questions you kind of know the answer to, right? Like, oh, so did you have it? Like Hunter said, you got to go. Oh, so do you have little ones? And like you start confirming all the questions. Kyle Brandt put out a hilarious one of like the 5 questions that all media people are asking all the other media people at Super Bowl. And it was the same deal. It's like, we talk to each other at this event every year. When are they getting you out of here? Are you going to the game?
Yeah.
Where do they have you staying at? Right. Like you got like the canned 4 or 5 questions. And there's a lot of that in the high school reunion. Armen, you're right. There's not enough written on it. We need some real scientific studies and we need some people to put pen to paper and write more about this.
Well,
also,
we do have Matt Mueller coming up next. So he'll have a little culture editor part to that. I'm sure he'll have an opinion on it, but go ahead, Billy. Yeah.
Well, and that was the thing. Also, I think Matt Mueller will be able to weigh in on what I saw this morning that just warmed all the cockles of my heart. To know that kids are still ding-dong ditching when the weather gets nice. There's a video of the kids ding-dong ditching the entire neighborhood. I don't know that I've ever smiled more than seeing that game is still alive.
Because I thought that was dead too.
I thought that was gone.
Yeah. With ring cameras and all that stuff. First of all, kids playing outside. I didn't know that was a thing as much anymore. And the ring cameras. But the fact that, I'm not kidding you, that warmed my heart so much. The kids are out there still ding-dong ditching, man. I mean, absolutely. That rush you'd get when you got out of there in time, oh, my gosh. And I didn't do it much, Dad. All right, I really didn't. But, all the other kids around the block, they would do it, and I'd be just getting out of there, Like, I can't.
Well, and as the big kid, like, that was never going to be fast enough to run away, I was always set up at base camp, right? So it was you're waiting for him to turn that corner, and that rush when all of a sudden – like Benny the Jet Rodriguez, you got the wide arm run and you're trying to grab at any air and you just kind of slide in under some cover.
That's it. You slide in. Yeah, great stuff.
What a great,
so cool.
Game. I'm so glad people are still playing it. 877-794-1973. Or you can hang out with us on the YouTube chat as well, where we got a lot of folks living with us, and we're going to be welcoming on that YouTube stream our friend Matt Mueller. A man about film going to join us for a culture conversation, a baseball conversation as well. And what on earth is going on in the theaters with our friend, a man about film? Matt Mueller joins us on the other side. It's the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
No sense of time. And I go back to the feel of a 50-yard line, a blanket of girls, some raspberry wine. Wishing time would stop right in its tracks. Every time I hear that song.
Welcome back. Huddle up. It's Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. Billy Schmid, Armen Sarian with you. It is the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. 1070 a.m. in Madison, 9:20 a.m. in Milwaukee as we hang out with you coast to coast. We go pillar to post for the 3 hours live at 5. And now in our third hour, our stretch run, as Hunter Baumgart is in for Drew Olson. Armen's right there. We welcome in Matt Mueller, Man About Film, hanging out with us now. Matt, good morning. How you feeling here today?
Hadily hodily, friends. How are we doing?
Oh, good. We avoided some disaster. I'm visiting my folks down here in Fort Myers, Florida, and may have awoken a little bit of a beast early on this morning. And
is that what you're calling the kiddo?
No, well, good
question. Good question.
That's probably a great question. You weren't here for it. The kiddo is actually the most pleasant part. The beast is the annoyed neighbor below him who's been throwing things. Now, the thing is,
interesting.
Yeah, now
I'm a different kind.
I've been waiting to make this reference because I didn't know who would be picking it up. We do have the Seinfeld Del Boca Vista reference, but there was a Frasier episode where Frasier got into it. A huge condo board meeting debate with a guy who wanted to hang his flag. Do you remember this, Matt Miller? Do you remember this episode of Frasier?
I do not.
No?
I am unfortunately a little underread on my Frasier.
And pretend I didn't say it, then don't worry about it. But there's plenty of references involved, so that's what Billy's been fighting all morning, So,
but it's fun, Matt. It definitely is fun. Armen's right. The little one has ended up. He's definitely been the star of the show. He's joined a couple of times. But yeah, it's been a morning. But you know what? Listen, in the midst of February, in awards season, you got to be able to earn your keep. And I think this is the point where you just, as Armen would say in college basketball, you don't want to step on any rakes. You just don't want to upset anything right now because you're too close to the end goal.
Yeah, that's a very good analogy. This is the kind of college basketball season part where it's like games 20 through 30 where everyone kind of knows where everybody is and you just don't want to lose to, like, I don't know, Mississippi Valley State or like
somebody bad,
Portland State or something like that, or lose to like Syracuse or something.
Yeah, right. One of the worst teams in your college. Like, it's still a conference game, but you don't want to lose to Rutgers.
Penn State.
Penn State, good 100. Yeah.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
It's a very strange time as far as Oscar race stuff goes, because technically it's going on. Technically campaigning is happening, but there's not a lot of buzz going on right now. Is Sinners the front runner? Obviously was the most nominated movie a while back, but One Battle After Another is still there. Hamnet is still there. Who's going to, it's very strange. I think things will start heating up in a few weeks when the actual voting takes place, because right now it's just kind of the weird interim period where, and honestly, if you're the Academy Awards, you gotta shorten this period up. There's no reason to be giving out the best of 2025 Oscars a quarter of the year into the new year. Like, it's just so dragged out. There's no reason why the Oscars can't be at the end of February when this conversation is still relevant rather than 2-3 weeks later. But they want people to be seeing these movies. They want to keep the conversation going, and they definitely want to get out of the way of the Super Bowl and the Olympics in this year's case. So it is kind of odd times. I will say, however, though, even leaving aside the Oscar stuff, this has been a great start to the new year in terms of movies that people can see. Like, this has been a very strong start to the year in terms of just like what Hollywood used to do in terms of a real plethora of movies out in theaters that people can see. We got romance movies, we've got horror movies, we've got dramas for adults, and they're doing well, which is really fun.
Let's go. We're back, huh?
It kind of feels that way.
Let's ride.
Because I was wondering, Matt, like, there's a lot of doom and gloom about AI, right? And is AI going to take over movie making and what AI can make movies in 30 seconds? Is this doom and gloom? Like, I know Hollywood's nervous.
In 30 seconds. I mean,
thank you.
30 minutes.
I mean,
movies.
Everyone got really stressed about the Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise AI fight thing, and it was like,
that's what I mean. Yeah.
And listen, that clip was only 15 seconds long and could not maintain my attention because AI doesn't know how to develop an interesting fight scene. AI doesn't know how to develop a plot. AI doesn't know how to maintain interest in the audience, and especially the case if you know it's AI going in. And you as an audience member are thinking to yourself, well, if no one bothered to show up on a set, if no one bothered to direct this, if no one bothered to make any true decisions on the day, if there's no people in this, then who cares? Like if no one involved in this cared, then why should I care? And I think that's going to be the big hurdle of AI. And I know a lot of AI advocates will say like, oh no, this is very exciting. But I just don't think I just don't think it goes beyond a tech demo at this point. It looks impressive for sure, but who cares? Who
Human consumers going in, no, this isn't real. I'm not going to be interested in this. The people aren't really acting or writing or doing anything. I could be wrong, but
because that's the biggest issue. Like, yeah, this AI stuff is a fun, free thing. But when you go to a movie theater and someone asks you to pay $15 for an AI movie that no human hands, no human care went into, that's going to be the real test of it. You know, I mean, ChatGPT is going to have that problem where it's like, yeah, people love their free search engine and paper writer right now, but when it's not free, are people going to be still that interested in keeping it around? It's especially if, it has these hallucinations, which I just saw an article the other day that was like, yeah, they can't stop them from hallucinating. That's just a part of the computer, air quotes, AI problem.
Right. Well, and Matt, you hit it on, I think you hit part of it on the head too, is like there is still always going to be a drive for, I mean, we saw it during COVID of shopping local, right? Like there's always going to be a drive for being able to feel like you see and you're able to support an individual that you're going to put your time, money, and effort into, right? Like, and that development you talk about with the characters and stuff like that. But I also think it's with the industry as a whole. And if going in, the way you said it is perfect, that no one cared to show up here. Why do I care enough? I think that's going to be still going away, the takeaway, because it feels like people do want to still throw support at things they are seeing people are working hard at.
Yeah, I mean, look at a lot of the love that people have for Christopher Nolan is because the dude is like, I want to film with a bunch of actors on sets using as little, special effects as possible, or at least computer effects as possible. You look at something like Nosferatu. I think this moment in film is really big because it seems like directors are becoming stars in a way where it's like people want to see a vision from a person. Barbie would have made a ton of money no matter the case. Greta Gerwig's Barbie probably becomes the monster box office hit that it did because it was like, this is a person's take on this. This is not just, slop.
Yeah.
So I tend to be hopeful on this. I tend to view, culture AI as kind of an NFT thing where it's like, it's pushed down our throat. And, maybe it'll be used for a lot of like fanfic and a lot of that kind of stuff on the internet. But I also think that people like the fingerprints, you talk about claymation and animation and people like to see the kind of pen strokes and they like to see the fingerprints on that kind of stuff. And I think in the world of fan fiction, people want it to feel personal and stuff like that. So even there, I'm not sure as much. And then you add in the part where, you can make an AI movie, but like, is anyone else going to watch it? And if that's not the case, then who do you share this with?
Then what's the point? Yeah.
Right? Like
that fan fiction thing is interesting.
Sports, the thing with art and sports and all this stuff is that it is in the end communal. It's something to talk with other people about and share. And if you can't really share the weird AI movie that you made for yourself after a 5-minute, prompt and load, then you're just, what's the point? It's just very strange. And I hope everyone comes to their senses, but if enough money can be made for rich people, then I guess the senses can be ignored.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Paul from Kenosha with a quick question for you. Have you seen the movie called How to Make a Killing?
I have not. I'm very excited to. This is the new A24 movie starring Glenn Powell. as a rich guy who could be richer if he kills off his 7 like nephews. And he gets like a $28 billion inheritance. I think I'm really excited for it.
How did no one think of that, right? Kill everybody in the Will movie plot line yet,
Get all the money. That makes sense.
And I'm really excited because like I'm a big Glenn Powell as a movie star guy. I've been on the Glenn Powell train since Everybody Wants Some back in 2016. I think The Running Man last year was a bad use of your Glenn Powell. I think he was miscast in that. The movie wasn't very good. This is a great use of your Glenn Powell, like guy who's very charismatic and very slick, but maybe you're not sure you can trust him. That is like the Glenn Powell strike. That is a home run. So like, I'm hoping it's good. It's weird that A24 kind of feels like they're dumping this movie. Like it kind of feels like it's coming out under like, oh, by the way, you can see this movie, How to Make a Killing, if you want. I hope it's, and also there was a movie called Emily the Criminal that came out a few years ago with Aubrey Plaza. This is the same director as that. And that movie ruled, and hopefully this one does too. Comes out this weekend.
Paul said he liked it.
All right, there we go. Glenn Powell, I learned about on the McAfee show because he is hilariously charismatic. Yeah, he's a very, very good watch in a fun setting.
Yeah, I mean, people would probably know him from Top Gun Maverick too, and anyone but you. He is just so charismatic, and I think if Hollywood can find the right projects for him, he will be a movie star. Running Man wasn't that project, unfortunately.
Yeah, they showed. I remember. I'm glad you mentioned that movie because they showed a clip, and I'm like, I guess I'm probably not the best target audience. That clip probably wouldn't have been the one to show, but I'm glad you guys are trying. Maybe let's do a greatest hits version for me to be introduced to him on.
Right, and like he's supposed to be like this character who's filled with rage, and he's just so angry. And I'm like, Glenn Powell, him,
smiling like he's smiling more than Hunter. I'm like, I don't see it, but I appreciate it. I'm glad you're trying.
That guy does not come off like it's like, oh, he's a powder keg. Any minute he could go off. It's like, no, that's not the Glenn Powell thing. Like, that's not where he goes.
That's not who we know and love.
Before we have to go, happy Punchki Day. I know, do you celebrate, Matt? You are your father's son, who's Gene is all things Milwaukee, so I'm sure he's been giving you
every day, Armen.
Yes.
Every day is a celebration.
Yes.
Fried dough day is every day in the Mueller household.
That's right. So I'm sure you'll be getting dozens and dozens of prune delights, and I do mean the punchki. So
Prune Delights. I think we have a new branding option. For
yeah,
a new Fig Newton.
It's my fantasy football team name next year.
Any bakery, call me up. I'm willing to hawk your products for some free donuts.
That's a hell of a sales pitch.
I do want to, if I can quick cram in one quick.
All right.
Please do.
Good luck, have fun, don't die in theaters right now. It is an anti-AI movie. It is directed by Gore Verbinski, who's a crazy person who directed the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. It's a crazy, really fascinating time if you like stuff like Brazil and Everything Everywhere All at Once. I had a great time at Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, still in theaters now. So definitely check that out if you are like me and hate this AI stuff and also just want to see a crazy sci-fi movie about crazy people trying to do crazy things.
You have anti-AI.
I was just going to say, I think that's where next week we're just going to start with all the anti-AI movies. And we're just going to get a nice little rundown as to where we roll through with it. That's phenomenal.
I like it. Starting with 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Although I didn't think about the fan fiction stuff, what I would do for one more season of Step by Step.
Armen's going to come into the office someday and be like, I made a 13th season of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Full House is never going to have more reruns or remakes than Armen's going to make on. Oh my God. You go to that. Do you think anybody went to that house during Super Bowl week, Armen?
Oh, probably, but who knows? I mean, maybe not. I'm sure they're lined up every day to go. I
saw the Home Alone house rebuild. Yeah. That's disgusting.
Just like now that we have the internet and people will travel to see these things, it's totally different. So it used to be not probably, but
that's great. Matt, we appreciate the time, man. Always thankful, and be safe out there today. Hopefully you don't get any rocks thrown at you by a folk in an HOA spot.
Fellas, you're the best. Thank you so much for having me.
See you, brother. There he is, Matt Mueller, hanging out with us. Some Mad About Film. Go and follow him and follow the Substack. Read the Substack, subscribe to it, and then go see a movie. Get some popcorn. Maybe some Swedish fish, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe those little chocolate chip cookie dough bites. that I don't know I've ever seen the box of candy outside of the movie theater.
I know. My wife eats them. Laurie likes those things. I've never seen anyone except her eating or buying those things.
Armen, I've never seen them anywhere but the movie theater.
And snow caps.
That's what makes it special.
Snow caps.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Special experience,
That's
you know?
what makes it special.
Yeah.
It is a special experience. We're going to put a snow cap. Well, not a snow cap because it's 55 at home. It's 85 here in Fort Myers, Florida. We're going to put a cap on today's show coming up on the other side. Hunter Baumgart in for Drew right there. Armen's here. I'm Billy. It's the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Welcome back. It is the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. Closing ceremonies as we wrap things up here today on a gorgeous Tuesday. Going to be a phenomenal one across the state of Wisconsin to enjoy and indulge. Well, listen, you can always hope, but you can always make it a great day.
Well, yesterday was a lot nicer.
Yesterday was amazing.
It's going to be a little more temperate today to what it should be. It's gonna be
So what did it tap out? Oh, see, I saw a high of 51, so I apologize for me miscasting
47.
where that was at.
No, I see 47, but a chance of rain. Yesterday we topped around 60 degrees, 61.
Yeah, 63.
63
officially.
It was a record high.
Yeah, record high. Last time that Milwaukee was warmer than that was November 15th, thanks to our friend Sam Cuffle. And yeah, so that was also, it's the earliest first 60 degree day in the last 6 years. The average for the first 60-degree day of the year is March 19th.
Yeah.
We got it on
Holy
February
cow.
16th.
Now, I had to have a very serious conversation with my daughter. Now, she didn't understand or hear any of it because she's 19 months old, but I said, this is not real spring. The squirrels are out. I understand the sun's out. We can throw the ball around, but this is not real spring. Don't get excited. Now, she had no idea what I was saying. And she went back to her, Miss Rachel puzzle, but whatever it is. But she did not. I said, this is fake spring. This happens every year. You're going to realize this growing up in Wisconsin. This is fake spring.
But what a tease, though. Oh,
it was a great tease. It was beautiful, beautiful yesterday. And we took a walk. It was fantastic. So.
Well, listen, I was gonna hit you with a wake and bake story at Huddle 20. Huddle is the promo code to get 25% off and free shipping at happyplacehemp.com.
Yeah.
However, I mean, listen, I think everybody's waking up way too refreshed and rejuvenated that you're just going to want to enjoy Happy Place Hemp because you're smiling after a 63-degree day in February in Milwaukee. That's amazing.
It was amazing yesterday.
It was. I sat outside at a coffee shop and just did a little work there. I was
cool.
like,
It's very Hunter.
Yeah.
He's
it was
probably
really nice.
Hunter's probably preparing for his great live broadcast he had last night.
Actually
Go back and watch it on Facebook, X, and or YouTube if you didn't see it. Hour of great Brewers content there.
At Hunter B on air.
I was just going to say, downloaded it on YouTube, download video feature so I can watch it on the plane ride home as well. So the little guy can enjoy some more Brewers conversation. He appreciates that as well. HappyPlaceHemp.com, promo code HUDDLE. All the other promo codes going away. Make sure you get all your Drift seltzers, gummies at HappyPlaceHemp.com. Shop local for everything else. Do it for your hemp products as well. Guys, the only story that I had here was I saw in Freezing Cold Takes. And every once in a while, they'll jot down what they have. They'll jot down things that they're keeping in Armen. Parking, right? Well, something called All Day Astronomy said, breaking news, Earth has completed half its lifespan. Now, that's going to be a hell of a freezing cold take to get missed on. That's going to be a hell of a freezing cold take to get missed on. Because we're going to be celebrating, and then the guy that's running Freezing Cold Takes is going to be able to dunk on that account in 800 years or whatever it is. 200,000 years. What a day. What a day that guy's going to have who no one even knows yet.
That's true. No one will know. And I was right. Great. We're all gone.
Great. We're all gone. Congratulations. Enjoy that win. We are gone for the afternoon. We'll see you again tomorrow live at 5. Hunter Baumgart in for Drew. That's Armen. I'm Billy. It's been the Huddle.